Well, it's really nice to be considered for it, because the main thing that means is that our team is winning. There's never been, I think, an MVP without a winning football team. We have some different type of players on our team who make me remember it. You know, they are constantly talking to me about it, and I think it's just the type of people they are. They've been behind me for this thing. But it's really nice to be in consideration and everything here, because there's a lot of players in our league are having excellent years, and by no means am I the only one who's having a good year. It's just nice being up for this consideration right now. I don't think about it. I can't. I just have too much to work on. Quarterback in my position who has to rely mostly about thinking can't be thinking about an MVP.
A very humble quarterback, Chuck Fusina. He has been red hot, and when you look at those numbers, you have to be impressed by the fact that he's an intelligent quarterback. He knows when to make the moves.
He's an intelligent quarterback, a very resourceful quarterback, someone who was influenced a great deal by his college coach, Joe Paterno, who has one of the best winning records in the history of NCAA football. And he told us yesterday that Paterno was someone who had a profound influence on his life, not necessarily technically as much as philosophically.
The playoff picture as you look, Philadelphia, of course, in command. I mentioned the fact that the Stars, with a win today, can wrap up a playoff spot, at least a wild card, and they are in command. Birmingham with an 11-2 record, solid shape. New Jersey 10-3. Tampa Bay doing extremely well, in New Orleans fighting down in the Southern Division. The Southern Division has to be the most balanced. As we go out west, you see that Houston is 9-5 behind the strong arm of Jim Kelly. Houston playing extremely well. Denver has taken a dive. They seem to be falling and just in a tailspin. Michigan has lost 6 of its last 7 ball games, still very much alive. Los Angeles, of the games, of the teams you see there, has to be the hottest. Won again last night behind young Steve Young. Arizona and Oklahoma still very much alive as well. You're looking at number 32, Albert Bentley, the return man for the Michigan Panthers. 29-yard average last week in the game against Los Angeles. He is out of the University of Miami, played on the national championship team down there, the team that beat Mike Rozier and Nebraska. Number 1 is David Trout. He will be kicking off for Philadelphia. One of the stronger legs in the league. He's out of Pittsburgh, just a little fella, 5'6", 168-pounder. And we are underway at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. It will be Bentley 2 yards deep. He will run it out. He's in trouble and will go down at the 10-yard line. So, Michigan finds itself in trouble. Herbert Harris was there to make the tackle. And it'll be the offensive unit that we see first now for Michigan. The quarterback, number 11, Bobby Hebert, the starter, last year's quarterback of the year. Ken Lacey, John Williams will be the setbacks. Without Anthony Carter, there is a lot of pressure on Derek Holloway and Walter Broughton. Mike Cobb has a streak of 33 straight games with a catch. There's the offensive line. There's Chris Godfrey, 250, Tyrone McGriff, 267, Wayne Rodloff at center is 265, Jeff Wisk at 256, and Ray Penny, longtime Pittsburgh Steeler, 256. First down on the 10-yard line for the Panthers. Long count by Hebert. He told me yesterday he expects a lot of blitzing out of the Stars. This is Williams, right side. Good gain, 6 yards. It'll be 2nd and 4. The tackle made by Glenn Howard. George Cooper, number 56, also came over from the outside linebacker spot to assist. The defensive unit for the Philadelphia Stars is a good one. Buddy Moore, Pete Kugler, Don Fielder, your 3 down linemen. They have 4 linebackers. John Bunning, the longtime pro. Glenn Howard, Sam Mills, just a little fella, but he is an active linebacker, and George Cooper. The defensive secondary has been changed a little bit. Jonathan Sutton, Garcia Lane has moved to cornerback. They have flip-flop sides with him and moved Antonio Gibson to strong safety, along with Mike Lush, number 27. Second down, call it 3.5. This is Lacey. Lacey banging his way out to the 17-yard line. Sam Mills meets him there and takes him down quickly.
Sam Mills, the leading tackler on the team, number 54, to me, Tim, is really he's the guy who typifies what the United States Football League is all about. He got kicked around in the National Football League, but he has become a star here in the United States Football League.
He is the leading tackler for the Stars. He has more than twice the number of tackles than any other player on the roster. Scott Warner now comes in as the 5th defensive back, and they load up front on a short yardage defense. Everybody up tight, tight formation, 2 tight ends. This is Williams, and I don't think he made it. It'll be awfully close. Pete Kugler made penetration. Sam Mills filled, and he got a lot of help from number 27, Mike Lush. The key Lee Gross Cup on short yardage defense is to make that penetration on the line, to establish a new line of scrimmage in the offensive backfield, let the linebackers in secondary fill, and they did it successfully.
I think that will be one of the keys for both teams because these teams are similar in their approaches offensively. They like to establish the run and then come with play-action passes.
You're looking at number 3, Novo Bojovic. His average, 39.2 yards. He's in a fill-in role, taking the place of David Greenwood, who is injured. Garcia Lane, number 47, is the return man. He's back at the 37-yard line. Novo shanks the punt. And it gets a Philadelphia roll and moves to the 34-yard line. So the Stars, who have been untouchable, unstoppable in the first half the last 7 games, get a big break as Novo Bojovic hangs his head after a 13-yard punt. Novo has been injured, Lee Gross Cup.
We saw him limp off last week against Los Angeles with back spasms. The snap was not a good one. It was to his left. He had to adjust to the ball. He hurried around into position, may have hurt the back along the way again, but then shanked the ball, and you see the frustration right there.
I think his biggest problem is the fact that he didn't have any pressure. He took a few extra steps, looked both sides, and then tried to kick it away.
I don't think he got the ball around into the proper position. And he was not leaning forward on the kick the way a punter should.
Nonetheless, they mark it at the 33-yard line. The Panthers 33, where the Stars have their first possession. And let me remind you that in the last 6 games, Philadelphia has outscored its opponents 65-0 in the first quarter. Fusina on the first play of his offensive scheme, and he'll go down. So, unlike what we saw Steve Young do, who'll bull his head and run, the older, more experienced Chuck Fusina slides in safely. He is the quarterback along with David Riley. Kelvin Bryant is back after a knee injury. He has not had a 100-yard game since his return. Scott Fitzke, Willie Collier, the wideouts. The tight ends, Steve Folsom. He's been very active lately. Brad Oates, George Gilbert, Bart Oates, Chuck Kaminsky, and Irv Eatman are your offensive line. It's a right-handed team. They like to go behind Kaminsky and Eatman. And that's exactly what Bryant will do this time, but he's submarined by Tom Moriarty and Robert Pennywell. Let me set that defensive alignment for you and look at the defensive talent of the Michigan Panthers. They are an active defense. They are right now currently ranked 3rd. The down lineman, Alan Hughes, has started in place of Larry Bethea. David Tipton and John Banasak make the 3 down linemen wholesome. And then you go to the linebackers, 4 good ones. Borland, Bentley, Pennywell, and John Corker, who had 28.5 sacks last year. The makeshift secondary, Vito McKeever is playing, along with Ron Osborne, Tom Moriarty out of Bowling Green, and Oliver Davis. I mentioned that Clarence Chapman has been suspended. He is not in the lineup. Fusina on 3rd and 5, throws behind David Riley.
Fusina pressured that time by John Banaszak, number 76. Straight drop back action here. Watch number 76 come into it. He doesn't get a sack, Tim, but he does get a hurry. He's aiming the ball for David Riley, number 35, who has become a starter since the last time we covered Philadelphia.
David Trout comes on to attempt a 46-yard field goal. He is 2 of 9 outside the 40. His kick, it's got the distance, and it's good. So the Michigan Panthers, who have outscored their opponents 65-0 in the first quarter over the last 6 games, score first in this one. Philadelphia 3, Michigan 0, with the Panthers ready to get the ball back for the 2nd time this afternoon. Jim Mora, in his 2nd year as head coach, went to nearby Michigan State, worked with Dick Vermeil at UCLA, and what a job he's done in his first head coaching job, taking the Stars to the playoffs, the championship game last year. Jim Stanley, old Texas A&M alum, played with Jack Pardee there, went to the championship game last year after a 1-4 start, turned things around, and the Panthers won the first ever championship. David Trout will kick it away. He just hit a 45.5-yard field goal, meaning that in the last 6 games, the Stars have scored on 23 of their 31 possessions. This is Albert Bentley. This time he finds a little funnel, takes the sidelines to the 37-yard 2-yard line. Albert Bentley.
I like the way Albert Bentley is performing more and more on kickoff returns. I think very shortly, Tim, you'll find him getting into the action more as a running back. Watch him now as he comes out of the end zone. We talked about his career at the University of Miami, where he was a walk-on, makes a little juke to the inside, comes back to the outside, finds that funnel that you mentioned, and winds up with a 40-yard return. He averaged 29 yards last week against the Los Angeles Express.
And that is his longest as a pro. Last week he had a 39-yarder against Los Angeles. He almost broke that one. Bobby Hebert, the Cajun Cannon from Cutoff, Louisiana. First down on the 37. This is Williams right side. Gets a block, cuts outside, pulls his way out near midfield. Antonio Gibson takes him down near the midfield stripe. Ray Penny had a block, but a big run by John Williams.
Watch the block by number 72, the pulling right guard, Jeff Wiska, and also the work of Ray Penny as Williams comes around the right side. A good hole opens up there, and Antonio Gibson, number 23, is the man who gets the hit in the secondary. Williams has been the big play man for the Panthers in recent weeks.
Holloway comes to the bottom of the screen. Anthony Allen to the top. Lacey Williams, the setback. This is Lacey. Into the Stars territory for the first time this afternoon. George Cooper gets credit for the stop.
Ken Lacey, of course, a story within a story. He has been booed here in the Silverdome ever since it was announced that he has signed a future contract with the Kansas City Chiefs. We are not hearing the boos here today, however. Lacey has been performing well in recent weeks, although has not had the big play.
Since Lacey signed with the Kansas City club, he has just 165 yards in 6 games. 2nd and 6. Williams gets a block to the outside. Run out of bounds on the 42-yard line by Jonathan Sutton. John Williams has been the workhorse. Look at the numbers on him, Cupper.
715 yards for Williams coming into today's game. Watch Tyrone McGriff go to work on Sam Mills, number 54. How about that for cutting a man's feet out from under him? Williams now 4 carries for 25 yards, most of them off the right side. Either the sweep or the long trap play.
Williams now 4 carries, 25 yards. 3rd and 2. Mike Cobb, the tight end, in motion. Hebert with plenty of time.
Look out.
Throws the interception. So Mark McCants makes the interception, and that could be the biggest factor of the day. The giveaway-takeaway ratio. Philadelphia plus 13, second in the league behind only Birmingham. Michigan minus 10, and they have been plagued by 16 interceptions in the last 7 games.
Mark McCants, number 20, who is best known for his work on special teams, is the man who steps right in front of Ken Lacey, number 28, right there, and makes a great interception along the sidelines. Big play for Philadelphia.
Lee Grosscup, I would not be surprised if Bobby Hebert gets off to a shaky start that we see Whit Taylor, his backup, come in and play some this afternoon. Kelvin Bryant, left side, no hold. Good scramble by the defense. 76, John Banaszak cut off the running lane. And one thing this Michigan defense will do is swarm to the football.
Let's watch that Michigan defense go to work right here. You can see that it's a little bit, well, it's an underneath trap to Kelvin Bryant, number 44, and the man with the first hit is number 76, Banaszak. 3 Super Bowl rings for that man, an MVP in 1 Super Bowl.
And a championship ring in this league, the United States Football League. The ball's on the 36, second.
Fumble.
Michigan gets it back. And even as we speak about John Banaszak, he comes up with a turnover. John Banaszak, the most valuable player in 1976 in the Super Bowl, comes up with a turnover.
We had barely finished describing the work of John Banaszak, number 76, when Kelvin Bryant does not get the handoff from Chuck Fusina, number 14. Fusina tries to cover it, but in comes Banaszak between two star players and covers the football to give Michigan opportune field position.
Philadelphia's only loss of the year was to New Jersey. And Kelvin Bryant had 2 turnovers in that game that turned into 10 points. He has 1 fumble here this afternoon. First down, Bobby Hebert still the quarterback. Philadelphia shows blitz. Now Mike Luss drops back. Hebert to throw. Rolls right, turns it upfield. And takes a pretty good lick by the linebacker, Glenn Howard. But I think we should mention the fact that Hebert is not a little fella. He is a pretty big, strong quarterback at 6'4", 208 pounds.
6'4", 208, has pretty good foot speed, very strong arm. As you mentioned, known as the Cajun Cannon. Jim Mora out of Occidental College right there.
But there is a flag on the play, and it looks like it'll be marked off against Michigan. So Hebert is a little bit shaken up. He did have a knee injury.
Illegal motion. Number 29, offense, still first down.
It was on 29, Derek Holloway, who jumped. More importantly, we look at Bobby Hebert, who, as I mentioned, had a knee injury the last 2 weeks, has not been 100%. He has it heavily taped here this afternoon. It'll be 1st and 15 from the 37-yard line. Anthony Allen, Derek Holloway are your wideouts. Hebert has Holloway, and he overthrows him. Zone defense, Holloway had rolled into the seam and was overthrown. Right now, let's go down to our colleague Al Trotwig.
Well, Tim, after the interception, there seemed to be a sense of impending doom, but with the fumble recovery of John Banaszak, things seem to be optimistic again here.
Well, we knew defensively we had to come up with the big play. That's a concept of our defense. As a team defense, and I was fortunate to be in the right place at the right time.
All right, John, thank you. Now it's up to the offense again. Back to you, Tim.
All right, thank you, Al. Big John Banaszak. He was backing up Ronnie Padgett early in the year. He's come on very strong. He forces turnovers, plays extremely well. And he is, as you could see, a very intense football player. It is now 2nd and 15 for Hebert, and the give is to Lacey. Nothing. The Boo Birds, Garcia Lane, the rookie on that side, number 47, came up and filled rather nicely. He's out of Ohio State.
Talented rookie out of Ohio State, 5'9", 175, one of the fastest players on the team. Ken Lacey takes a sweep handoff from Hebert, is trying to get outside. Now watch the support there on the corner by number 47, Garcia Lane, as he comes up and gets the first hit. Good pursuit along the entire line there by the Stars.
Lane had the big interception against Steve Young that led to a touchdown. And Philadelphia just barely got by the LA Express. He had some trouble early in the year, then they flip-flopped him, put him on the other side. He's played well. 3rd and 15 for Hebert. Again, he overthrows Holloway, who was covered quite nicely on that side by Jonathan Sutton, number 26. And the crowd in Michigan is obviously upset with the performance of the Panthers. How soon they forget, huh?
I think the quarterback position, though, Tim, is often overrated. Quarterbacks tend to get too much blame when things are going wrong, too much credit when things are going right. However, this ball is clearly overthrown as he tries to get the sideline cut to Derek Holloway, number 29. The coverage very effective by number 26, Jonathan Sutton.
Novo Bojovic, a very unimpressive 13-yard punt the first time out. It's a high snap. It's a high spiral this time. It'll hit inside the 10, and it'll go into the end zone for a touchback. Well, Bobby Futrell had a shot at it, turned his back on the punt. This 37-yarder rolls into the end zone. They'll have it first down on the 20. Bobby Hebert 0 for 3. Philadelphia leads 3-0. We have 5:53 remaining in the first quarter from the Silverdome in Pontiac. Tim Brand and Lee Gross Cup along with you as we look at Chuck Fusina, the quarterback for the Philadelphia Stars. Riley piggybacks David Tipton, and there's nothing there. He may have lost a half yard. Let's go downstairs very quickly with Al Trotwig.
All right, Tim, certainly the fans not very patient with Bobby Hebert. If Bobby comes out, Whit Taylor will go into the game at quarterback. Have you been thinking along those lines, Whit?
I think when you're a second-team quarterback, you always have to think about it. But as far as I'm concerned, Bobby's the #1 quarterback, and until the coaches say so, that's the way it's going to be. So, if he does come out, I'll be ready to go in.
All right, thank you. Back to you, Tim.
On 2nd and 10, Kelvin Bryant straight ahead, picks up a yard. Whit Taylor's out of Vanderbilt. He came in and replaced Hebert last year against Arizona and hit 5 of 8.
Kelvin Bryant here gets the blast play, handoff from Fusina there, and the first hit is by John Corker, number 57, almost simultaneous with number 98, Alan Hughes, who was probably the best guy against the run.
Man defense. Michigan rolls up on the wide receivers. They go to a lock-on. They also show blitz with their linebackers. Fusina, long count, calls an audible, under a lot of pressure. Fusina will go down. It's Will Coakley, number 58, on the blitz, who sacks Fusina.
Michigan has one of the best groups of linebackers you're going to see anywhere in professional football. Watch now as Coakley, number 58, comes through there on the blitz, grabs a hold of Fusina's jersey and just ropes him down.
Sean Landetta punts it away, a high spiraling punt. It'll be taken by Anthony Allen up near midfield. Fumble. Michigan gets it back. I think there was interference, but there's no flag. Anthony Allen certainly wants interference. He's talking right now with the official. Sean Landetta had to punt only once last week.
Let's see if it is interference. Well, he didn't signal for the fair catch, though.
He still has to give at least a foot for Anthony Allen or any receiver to have a fair shot at receiving the ball. 41-yard punt. The Panthers get it back with good field position at the 40. Philadelphia leads Michigan 3-0. 4:16 remaining first quarter. Michigan has the ball on its own 41-yard line. Bobby Hebert has been booed vociferously. He has already thrown 1 interception in this ball game, and Michigan has squandered some opportunities. Anthony Allen, Derek Holloway, your wideouts. He looks for Holloway. It's complete. Holloway spins back up to the 48-yard line before Garcia Lane wraps him up.
First completion of the day for Bobby Hebert, and that's one way to build your confidence. He throws the short hook cut to Derek Holloway along the left sideline. Short hook, deep hitch, whatever you want to call it. It's a nice way to create an immediate open field situation for a fast receiver like Derek Holloway. He, of course, out of Arkansas, where he was overshadowed in publicity by Gary Anderson there, but one of the fastest men on the team.
Holloway had 2 touchdowns in the championship game against these Philadelphia Stars. Mike Lush, 27, comes up, feigns the blitz. The give is to Williams. Stiff arm, break 2 tackles, finally ridden out of bounds by Jonathan Sutton. So if there's one thing this defense does extremely well is it keeps its containment. The outside people will ride and stretch out the play and wait for inside pursuit, but they very rarely break down on the corners. Cleo Miller, longtime Cleveland Brown, 7th leading all-time rusher for the Browns. As ice taped to his elbow right now. Hyperextended elbow. They're also working on his shoulder. Third and 4. Straight ahead, Ken Lacey. And I don't think he made the first.
Questionable call on 3rd and 4. That's the hard way to do it. Ken Lacey is a power back, but they're going right into the teeth of the Star defense. This unit, of course, Tim, known as the doghouse defense, the most effective unit in the league last year at containing opponents' scoring, and likewise in 1984. The name given, of course, by Jonathan Sutton when the team was having problems during training camp, said the defense was always in the doghouse. So they called them the doghouse defense. They went on to be the best in the league.
Just that far. Inches. Will they go for it? The crowd obviously wants it. Ray Bentley is out there, and he's telling Stanley he wants to go for it. Not a high percentage play, but it might be just the thing this club needs in a situation where they've been in such a turmoil state.
They did it in the playoff game last year against the Oakland Invaders. It paid off. They went on to win that game. We have seen Jim Stanley gamble before. He is essentially conservative, but he is a man who will take calculated risks.
They bring in Tony Osmond, 255-pounder, as an extra blocker. There are two tight ends, Don Eccles, Mike Cobb. They will go for it. They load up everybody. The setbacks, Williams and Lacey. Hebert has one wing. It's 88 Eccles, the tight end. It's Hebert, takes it himself, and I don't know whether he got it. He is at the bottom of the pileup.
I think he did.
But it's a safe call to say that he's going to be awfully close.
I think he did, but just barely.
Michigan Panthers have struggled and struggled, and maybe this is a big play that they need. Philadelphia says that they didn't get it. Michigan says it did get it. So they'll bring out the chains once again.
They say it's a game of inches. That's the cliche. Let's see. Philadelphia was right.
Well, it has been something that Michigan has struggled with all year. They convert on third down only 44% of the time. Fourth down, they are 1 of 3. And this wasn't one of those times. So they give the ball back at midfield to the Philadelphia Stars, to the dismay of this crowd at the Silverdome. Bad place to give the ball to the Philadelphia Stars, because this is a club that can make magic. Willie Collier comes to the bottom of the screen. Scott Fitzke to the top. The pitch back is to Kelvin Bryant, who gets a hole and bangs his way out near a first down. A great block that time by David Riley.
David Riley out of West Virginia has really emerged as a top performer in recent weeks. He was particularly effective in the ball game against Birmingham. Look at him kick out there on Tom Moriarty, number 45, setting up the inside cut by Kelvin Bryant. You just made a good point. Philadelphia is opportunistic. They really take advantage of field position. They make you pay when you give them the ball in good field position.
2nd and 1, I formation. Fusina goes to the flat to his tight end, Folsom, and Folsom has a first down and then some as he's ridden out of bounds at the 30. Steve Folsom has become an active part of this lineup. Last year he hardly caught any footballs, was used primarily as a blocking back. He now has 42 receptions.
42 coming into today's game. That makes 43. That is the first down of the day for Philadelphia. Of course, Folsom off-season was an assistant U.S. ski team, the strength coach, conditioning coach.
Kelvin Bryant, nothing. Kyle Borland, 52, came up and filled along with John Banaszak.
Again, watch the work of the linebacking crew of Michigan. Kyle Borland is the first man through this time as Kelvin Bryant dips inside, tries to get back outside, and they shut him down before he even hit the line of scrimmage.
Kelvin needs 79 yards now for his 1,000 yards on this season. Last year's most valuable player, Kelvin Bryant. Ball on the 29. It is 2nd and 11. 45 seconds remain in the first quarter. Fusina going deep. Throws a dead duck, and it's almost intercepted. Robert Pennywell, number 59, had a shot at it, but couldn't get his feet under him to get there in time. John Corker, Tom Moriarty came with the blitz and put a lot of pressure on Chuck Fusina.
Chuck Fusina under a great deal of pressure here. Watch the linebackers again, particularly the sack man himself, John Corker, number 57, along with Tom Moriarty coming on the safety blitz. They were really in Chuck Fusina's face, and as a result of that, he did throw a wounded duck.
Fusina out of Penn State, the runner-up to Billy Sims for the 1978 Heisman Award. 3rd and 11. Again to throw. This time he goes deep. And it's overthrown, intended for Tom Donovan. So again, the Michigan defense rises to the occasion. They call it a rubber band defense. defense. You can stretch it, but don't break it, and it has been extremely effective. Bring on David Trout.
Chuck Fusina not off to an impressive start, Tim. He's 1 of 4 in the passing department for 13 yards. We talked to him yesterday. He said he might be coming down with the flu. He was under the weather.
It'll be a 46-yard attempt by David Trout. He has already hit a 45.5-yarder. This one is partially blocked. It goes into the end zone and through for a touchback. They'll have the ball. The Michigan Panthers get it back. A big defensive play. They've done it again. So David Trout has his field goal attempt blocked by number 57, John Corker. And the score remains the same. Philadelphia leads 3-0.
Tim, on the last play, watch John Corker right in the middle use his height to advantage here. Remember, he's 6'6", and he leaps just at the right time, partially blocks David Trout's kick. This is the second block of the year for Corker. The first one came in the overtime game against Houston to save that game.
So David Trout now 3 of 11 outside the 40-yard line. Had 5 field goals against Birmingham, 19 points. Extra points. Hebert going long, has Holloway, and Holloway can't hold on because Mike Lush deflects the football. If there's one thing Hebert does better than anyone in the league is he throws deep. They call him the Cajun Cannon, and he does have a very, very strong arm.
Very, very strong arm, but he's throwing into coverage here as Mike Lush, number 27, comes over. Good throw, but not far enough that time. He's 1 of 5 now for 8 yards. You're right, though. He does have the strength. Comes down to just throwing the ball for distance. There are a few better in the league, if any.
Lee Grosscup, you're the former All-American quarterback from Utah. You're the one that played in the NFL and the CFL. How does a game, several games, as a matter of fact, for Bobby Hebert affect his confidence?
Well, it'll start to affect his confidence. He threw for over 300 yards, though, last week, and I don't think he'll panic just yet.
2nd and 10, Hebert to throw again. He goes to Williams. Williams gets a block, sidesteps a tackler, gets the first down for the Panthers.
To amplify on what I was just saying, Tim, remember that some of the passes he's thrown recently have been dropped.
Let's go downstairs to Al Trotweed.
Here he is, 6'6", John Corker. John, it's been 3 big plays in a row now. The defense has come off the field very successful. Do you consider that a way of challenging the offense to perform?
Oh, not necessarily. You got to expect at times your offense is going to be a little bit slow in starting, and the defense have to be faced with adverse moments like this. I think we're doing really well out there, and offense is going to come along. This game's still got 3 quarters left in it.
All right, so far, Michigan has stopped Chuck Fusina and Kelvin Bryant. 3-0 Philadelphia. We'll be back.
Jim Stanley going over his game plan. Just had words with his quarterback, Bobby Hebert. The defensive players who have played extremely well came over to Hebert. They as well talked to him to give him confidence. The last 2 times these 2 clubs have played, Hebert has thrown for more than 300 yards. The give straight ahead to Ken Lacey. Lacey picks up 4.5.
As we look at the first quarter numbers, Tim, what really sticks out there is total yards. Michigan has dominated the first quarter. Time of possession also. They are the 3rd best possession team in the league. Philadelphia is number 2. Birmingham is number 1. Everything about even. She said we've got a close, hard-hitting football game.
Michigan Panthers show strength to the left side. And they give to Lacey, who goes right. He goes up to midfield before Sam Mills cuts him down there. Sam Mills, just 5'9", 225-pounder out of Montclair State. But he can hit you a ton.
Really one of the true success stories and Cinderella stories of 1983. I said before that he kind of typifies what the USFL is all about, because he was a small guy, supposedly too small, too slow, couldn't play in the NFL, couldn't make it in Canada, kicked around, confidence a little bit down, came back, and has made it big here in the USFL.
He is aggressive. Sam Mills knows the difference between come here and sick 'em.
I guarantee
you. Well, Bobby Hebert doesn't like what he gets from the sidelines, and he wants to talk it over with Jim Stanley. So, The Philadelphia Stars lead this ball game 3-0. Michigan at midfield. Bobby Hebert has conferred with his head coach Jim Stanley. He is back with his team now at the 40-yard line. The Panthers have the ball at midfield, where it'll be third down and a short 5. Call it 4.
Those ladies just known simply as the Michigan Panther cheerleaders. They do not have a name. Novo Bojovic married one of those lovely ladies earlier this season.
Bobby Hebert, 3rd and 4. Reads the Stars defense, shows to be a man. Man coverage, he throws underneath the linebackers, and it looks like Holloway heard footsteps, came up very tightly and dropped the football. Glenn Howard and Sam Mills were the linebackers in the area.
That is an affliction known at times to wide receivers, hearing footsteps. You call it having alligator arms at times. Don't blame them. I understand. Linebackers in professional football are big, strong, fast, and mean.
Novo Bojovic been playing with an injured hip. Says he feels fine today, but he had a 13-yard punt the first time out of the blocks. He's averaging 39 yards a punt. Garcia Lane is deep for Philadelphia. High snap, a lot of pressure. Novo goes down. There is no flag, and it is fair caught by Garcia Lane. So Novo thought that he should have gotten a flag. He thought it was roughing the kicker. Victor Harrison was deep. And Garcia Lane made the fair catch for Philadelphia.
It's paramount that all kickers take some acting classes. Watch Novo right here. Now he's going to fall down. See that?
You know, it's a penalty now in the National Football League if you fake roughing the kicker. 32-yard punt. We'll be right back. In the last 6 games, they have scored on 23 of 31 possessions in the first half. However, the Michigan defense has been strong here in the first half of this ball game, and there were flags everywhere. Looked like Irv Eatman may have jumped the count a little bit. Big number 75 for Philadelphia. You know, I had a long talk, Lee Gross Cup, with John Corker Friday. Corker was saying, forget all the contract disputes and the injuries. Forget the suspensions and the turnovers we've had. Let's play football. We can beat the Stars. So far, the defense has been dominating. Lackluster performances by both offenses. 1st and 15. Kelvin Bryant finds the funnel, gets hit by Tom Moriarty as he spins out to the 21-yard line. Tom Moriarty, 6'1", 188-pounder out of Bowling Green. Starting his 3rd game here today.
Because of the injury to David Greenwood. And that's a big loss for Michigan because Greenwood, many people felt, was the best athlete on the team. So when you lose a Carter, a Greenwood...
John Arnott was traded.
Dornbrook has been gone all season. Take 3 athletes like that out of the lineup, it's got to hurt you.
2nd and 7, Philadelphia. Straight ahead, the line plugs its way out. Gain of 2. David Riley out of West Virginia has had 6 touchdowns in his last 4 ball games for Philadelphia. Let's go to New York. Jim Lampley is standing by with a USFL report.
Here's a look at the first touchdown of the day, set up by a fumbled kickoff. Birmingham taking advantage against New Orleans. Cliff Stout, 13-yard pass to Darrell Mason on the first play of the 2nd quarter. And Birmingham has jumped on top of New Orleans, 10-0 in a must game for the Breakers. Now back to the ballpark.
3rd and 4, Kelvin Bryant taken down by Ray Bentley, way shy of the first down, and the Stars will have to kick it away again. So the Michigan defense is rising to the occasion.
That man number 50 right there out of Central Michigan is often overshadowed by John Corker, but he's the leading tackler on the team, one of the most consistent players for them. He reads that quick screen to Kelvin Bryant very well and makes the tackle, stops a possible first down.
Talking about Ray Bentley as Sean Landetta kicks it away. Taken by Anthony Allen on the 41, and that's where Michigan will have the football. Good field position for the Panthers. And the Philadelphia defense comes back onto the field following that 35-yard punt. First and 10 for Bobby Hebert. Anthony Allen, Derek Holloway are his wideouts. This is John Williams. Looks for a block from Mike Cobb, takes it around the corner. Picks up a few yards before Garcia Lane runs him out, the rookie from Ohio State. Got that block from the corner, not only from Cobb, but Jeff Wiska helped him out.
Well, if you like wide-open offensive football, this game hasn't really been too eventful so far, Tim Brandt. But a guy like you who was a linebacker, you got to be loving it because they are really hitting today.
Well, you've got one of the most active, one of the most complicated defensive schemes that you'll see in this league from the Michigan Panthers. They'll run some combination defenses. They like to load up. They'll blitz you. They'll play games up front. Man to one side, zone to the backside. Philadelphia, too, is an active defense, and they'll blitz a lot. They're showing blitz right now. Mike Lush loads up like he's going to come. Does. Now he drops back. Long count by Hebert. Ken Lacey cuts back against the grain, has close to a first down for the Panthers.
The thing about Philadelphia is that they show blitz a lot, but then they come out of that. And they mix their coverages. They have multiple fronts, and they'll mix their coverage a lot in the secondary.
Philadelphia has improved its secondary a great deal by moving Jonathan Sutton to one side. They took Antonio Gibson from the corner where he had some tough times last year, and he's become an extremely tough, strong safety. Fills well, covers extremely well. They have the rookie 47, Garcia Lane, flip-flopped him after he had some problems, and now they found the right combination, and it's a strong secondary for the Stars. First and 10 for Bobby Hebert. Play action. Hebert turns it up, has some running room. And he's close to another first down.
Hebert limping a little bit, Tim. Let's watch. He may have re-injured the knee. Bootleg action here. Fakes to Ken Lacey, number 28. Rolls out to his right. He's looking for a combination pattern on the strong side. Now he decides to run. Number 91, Buddy Moore, is the one who makes the hit right there. Hebert, remember, had some fluid drained off his knee. You mentioned that earlier. He's been playing with pain the last 2 or 3 weeks. Looks like he's just a little gimpy right there. 9-yard gain for Hebert.
Second down and 1. Williams. First down, Panthers. Bobby Hebert sat out preseason camp in a contract dispute. The Panthers didn't give Bobby more money, but they cut off the final 2 years of his 5-year deal so that negotiations would come up a lot sooner. You know, when Steve Young signed with Los Angeles, I think Bobby went crazy. He was the most valuable quarterback in this league last year and thought that he deserved more money.
Well, he's making $80,000 a year now and is due to make $100,000 a year next year. By today's prices, that makes him quite a bargain for the Panthers.
First and 10 from the 28. Hebert to throw. With time. Goes deep. Intended for Holloway, and it's overthrown. Good coverage out there by the rookie Garcia Lane.
We talked about the speed of Garcia Lane. We know how fast Holloway is. Garcia Lane was step for step on the coverage. You can see in isolation what I was just talking about. Corner pattern by Derek Holloway. Watch the perfect position of Garcia Lane, number 47.
Garcia Lane started every game for Ohio State. 3 straight years. 8 minutes, 35 seconds remaining in the half. Second and 10 for the Panthers. Holloway and Anthony Allen are your wideouts, and the ball is loose. Philadelphia picks it up. George Cooper can't advance the fumble, so number 56 will have to bring the ball back. But nonetheless, it'll be Philadelphia ball on the 45-yard line in Michigan territory. So, turnovers continue to plague the Michigan Panthers. They are -10 in the takeaway-giveaway ratio, and that has been the single most dominating factor when they've lost 6 of their last 7.
There it is again. The ball is stripped right there by Glenn Howard, number 51. And now it's picked up by George Cooper, number 56. But the ball was whistled dead.
Philadelphia lead. The ball is marked at the 45. You've seen it play action. The ball was tipped. Intended for David Riley, but John Banaszak got a big paw on it.
John Banaszak has been busy today, both against the run and as a pass rusher.
Banaszak is 6'3", 244 pounds, like a big bear down in that line. Bear paws he has.
I should say.
Second and 10 from the 45. Panthers show blitz, now they roll back. Man coverage. Fusina reads that. Long count. Backside pressure. Has a man wide open. It's Kelvin Bryant. First down and then some. Down to the 30-yard line goes Kelvin Bryant.
Might be the best pass of the day for Chuck Fusina to Kelvin Bryant.
Glenn Howard playing an outstanding game for the Stars on defense. Right now he's with Al Trotwig.
Glenn, when you saw Bobby Hebert in the backfield like that, did he seem a little tentative? You seem to be able to pick the ball away from him rather easily.
No, I don't think he was expecting me to come that freely. I came pretty free, and he just saw me at the last minute, step to the side, and thank God I just put my hand out and knocked the ball away from him.
Well, your play certainly shut down the Panthers, who seem to be building momentum. Back to you, Tim.
Kelvin Bryant straight ahead, picks up 4. Alan Hughes and Ray Bentley make the tackle defensively. And Larry Bethea comes into the ball game now. Number 79, the defensive end for Michigan. First time we see him in the ball game. He's been in the doghouse, was late for a meeting. We saw him have a little confrontation with Coach Stanley Friday at practice. They sat him down and didn't start him. 79, Larry Bethea.
Leading sacker on the team.
Philadelphia needs 8 yards for the first, and they won't get it on this play. Alan Harvin. Say hello to John Corker, number 57.
Out of Cincinnati. Say hello to John Corker out of Oklahoma State, where Jim Stanley was a head coach at one time, an assistant coach in the NFL. Of course, Jim Stanley played his college football at Texas A&M. Fellas like John David Crow were there at the time, Jack Pardee, Charlie Kruger.
Bear Bryant was the coach. 3rd and 8 for Philadelphia. 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Now have some words. Fusina wanted a timeout. Michigan was showing blitz, and they came with it anyway. So now, tempers flare. Corker's upset at the call. They're going to call offsides Michigan.
Getting in the swing of things.
Now, Corker's beside himself, and I don't blame him. Fusina put the timeout sign up. The official hadn't blown his whistle. And when he yelled time, he walked away from center, and the blitz came. Well, now they'll walk it back against Philadelphia, so Corker will calm down a little bit.
Number 14 of the offense.
There it is. There's Chuck Fusina signaling. Here comes the penetration.
Well, they called a delay on the Stars. They finally give him the timeout. Bardo held on to the football at center.
Take a look at John Corker from this angle.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 1984
Delay of game was the call.
So they called delay of game on Philadelphia, as we told you earlier, and there's still a discussion about that call. Fusina says Corker came across too early, but if anything, it was Philadelphia that moved. Well, this discussion could go on and on as they meet down there. Tempers have flared, and they continue to talk. So while there's timeout, we'll take one as well. Philadelphia leads Michigan 3-0 with 5:58 remaining in the half. Things have calmed down. We're ready to go back to the action. Scott Fitzke and Willie Collier come to the bottom of the screen. Tom Donovan goes to the top. Two setbacks, Riley and Kelvin Bryant. Jusina goes to the hook pattern. It's Fitzke, and he's complete inside the 20 to the 16-yard line.
Scott Fitzke, one of Jusina's receivers at Penn State when they played together in the late 70s, is running a deep curl-in pattern here. And watch what he does. He gets right in behind number 30, number 20 there, Futrell, in between the coverage, and the ball is thrown for. That might be Jusina's best pass of the day.
17-yard completion, first down. The ball is marked at the 16-yard line. The Panthers now go to a man defense. Man-to-man coverage, play action. Jusina wants it all. Now he goes underneath to Kelvin Bryant at the 12, and Bryant goes down to the 10-yard line. Ray Bentley and Kyle Borland, the linebackers, come up and make the tackle.
We talked a lot about Chuck Jusina at the top of the show. If we look at Jim Mora, who played his college football at Occidental, his roommate there was Jack Kemp, Congressman Jack Kemp. That was back in 1957. Jusina, as a winning quarterback now, is 57-8. That's talking about his days at Penn State and here.
2nd and 4, two tight ends. Right side power with David Riley. Riley bangs his way down to the 7-yard line.
Jusina now 5 of 9 after a slow start for 49 yards. Look at what David Riley has done in the last 4 games. We talked about how he has emerged as a starter, replacing Booker Russell since the last time you and I covered him, and he was particularly effective in the ball game against Birmingham. In that ball game, he got 62 yards rushing, scored the first touchdown for the Stars.
Philadelphia brings in number 34, Jeff Rodenberger, the power back. They give it inside to Riley, and he takes it down to the 5-yard line. And I don't think he got the first down. We'll have to see. Yes, he did. Good fill by the secondary and linebackers of the Panthers, but it was not in time.
Let's look at the power of Rodenberger. Takes the ball from the fullback position. It's David Riley, number 35, who takes the ball. I thought you said Rodenberger.
They brought Rodenberger in as a blocking back.
As a blocking back.
That's the way it'll stay here. He's still on the wing. Riley and Kelvin Bryant, the setbacks. 1st and goal from the 4. Jusina under pressure, throws it anyway. Incomplete. Intended that time, Lee Grosskopf, for Jeff Rodenberger. You just anticipated the play.
We'll get him in there some way. Rodenberger, the motion man here. Pressure by number 45, Tom Moriarty, who is blitzing from the safety position. Forces Jusina to throw the ball a little bit early. And Jeff Rodenberger, circling around on a crossing pattern, is covered there by number 36, Beto McKeever.
Well, Chuck Jusina wants timeout now. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line. So he'll talk things over. John Corker and Bentley will come over to talk with Jim Stanley. It'll be 2nd and goal when we come back. 19,606. That's the guess of Kelly Hayes, the crowd here today, working with us up here in the booth. We'll see how accurate that is a little bit later. I think it's a little bit larger than that. We've got 3 minutes, 16 seconds remaining in the half. Philadelphia threatening to score. This is Kelvin Bryant, cuts back against the grain and takes it in. So the threat is now realized to David Riley through the block to set Kelvin Bryant free. But there is a flag down on the field.
Offsides, Michigan, touchdown.
So Tommy Miller, our referee, sets us straight. The touchdown will hold. Kelvin Bryant makes it a 9-0 lead for the Stars, and David Trout will come on to try to make it 10.
Jim Mora, a man who did a marvelous job last year. Remember, he came on just 2 weeks prior to the start of training camp when George Perlis, who had been hired as the coach, went to Michigan State. Amazing job last year by Jim Mora.
David Trout, no question about it. It's through and it's good. So Philadelphia takes a 10-0 lead.
Dominance, but not the type of play we have been associating with Philadelphia in recent weeks, because they have really taken charge of teams in the first half, as we noted earlier. Now let's see if we can see the block by David Riley, number 35. He's the lead blocker for Kelvin Bryant. Here he is on the corner. Sets it up for Kelvin to cut back inside. And then it's a waltz from there into the end zone.
David Riley just took Oliver Davis completely out of the play. Just cut him.
Let's see it. We lose him right there, but he did cut Oliver Davis. Kelvin starts outside, cuts back inside, churns on into the end zone.
Well, the fans here getting a little bit impatient for the offense of the Michigan Panthers, and I would not be a bit surprised to see Whit Taylor come in at quarterback shortly.
Well, Bobby Hebert has had a rough go of it in recent weeks. Not all of it has been his fault. A lot of passes have been dropped. There have been sacks, but he is forcing the ball at times. Other times, he's taking a little too much off of it. He's throwing either too soft or too hard at times. That all goes along with confidence that you've talked about.
David Trout, number 1, to kick it away. Bobby Futrell and Albert Bentley are the deep backs for the Panthers. Futrell straddles the goal line, takes it up right side, return to the 20, and he'll go no farther. Let's go down to Al Trotwig with Chuck Fusina.
Chuck, quick starts have been the order of the day for Philadelphia in the last bunch of games, yet in this game, not such a quick start. What was going on out there?
Well, we've had a lot of quick starts, and Michigan's doing a great job. They're doing a lot of things, giving us a lot of different looks, and I give the credit to them. But we're coming along a little better now, and hopefully we can maintain this way the rest of the game.
And the flu, your stomach problems, no problem?
No, I'm fine. I really am.
All right, Chuck said things weren't going so well before. Well, here we are. We're back, and it's 10-0. Back to you, Tim.
Well, Fusina says he feels better. Scott Fitzke had the flu all week.
Those boos were for Bobby Hebert, and to punctuate what we were just talking about, he's now 2 for 8 in the passing department for 23 yards.
17 interceptions in the last 7 games. 1st and 10 from the 20. Hebert tries to set a screen, now drops it off, and it's almost intercepted. Off the hands of John Williams, and George Cooper, number 56, almost had the interception. Jim Stanley staying very close to number 10, Whit Taylor. And the reason for that is Whit Taylor signals in the plays to Bobby Hebert. So that's Bobby Hebert who's looking right now at Whit Taylor. And then he goes to his wrist where he has the plays written. He'll check it, and he'll call it in the huddle.
He's trying to set up a slow developing screen to number 40, John Williams, as we look again right here. He gets in a little trouble there, can't really act out his part. Good pressure right there by George Cooper, number 56.
Looked like he tried to drill the ball. On 2nd and 10 now with time. Reloads and throws deep. He's got a man wide open. It's Derek Holloway at the 30, the 20, the 10. It's a foot race. Touchdown, Michigan. Derek Holloway. The little flyer from Arkansas. And listen to this crowd now.
Derek Holloway.
Novovojovich adds the extra point. That'll make it a 10-7 ball game. 80-yard touchdown ties the longest touchdown pass of the year for Bobby Hebert. He hit an 80-yarder to Walter Broughton against Tampa Bay earlier this season.
Straight drop back, 7 yards. A look to the left. Now, back to the right, and he launches a missile right here over the shoulder. And coverage there by Jonathan Sutton. He has Sutton beat. Watch the open field capabilities right here by Derek Holloway. Loses Mike Lush with a juke step. Back to the outside. Now he has to outrun Jonathan Sutton to the corner of the end zone. In isolation right here. It's a hook fake, then deep. Jonathan Sutton is chasing him. Mike Lush, inside, back outside, foot race to the corner. Holloway, touchdown.
Earlier this week in the Detroit press, it was mentioned that Derek Holloway and Bobby Hebert were pointing fingers at each other. It said that Hebert was saying too many drop passes and they miss Anthony Carter too much. Holloway said, forget Anthony Carter. He's gone for the year. Let's concentrate on what we're doing now. We talked to Bobby Hebert on Friday. He said the reports were much exaggerated. The two are best friends. Obviously, they're in rhythm here after that 80-yard touchdown.
How one pass can help. Hebert was 2 of 9 for 23 yards, now 3 of 10 for 103 and 1 touchdown.
Vujovich kicks to Mark McCants. And McCants will take it to the 21, and that'll be it. Bobby Futrell, number 20. Good coverage by the special teams of Michigan.
The big play capabilities of the Michigan Panthers can certainly turn a ball game around in a hurry. How that can change the momentum, and that's going to be a shot in the arm for the Panthers as they take the locker room at halftime, Tim, especially if they stop the Stars right now.
We have 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Plenty of time for both clubs. And the Michigan defense now will be looking to make the big play. Try to force a turnover to give the ball back to Bobby Hebert so he can try to put points on the board. 10-7's our score.
Back live in Pontiac, Michigan, I'm Al Troutwig along with Derek Holloway, who has made the score 10-7. Philadelphia still leading. Not the way the play was originally supposed to work, was it, Derek?
No, it wasn't. Bobby was looking strong side. He ran about a 12-yard out, and Bobby started scrambling toward me. So I took off deep, and he saw me and hit me.
Your coach calls you a money player, and that was a big play that this team has needed for quite some time.
I'm just glad I'm be able to get us back in the game. Hopefully we can go and win the game from here.
All right, back in the game, the Panthers are. Back to you, Tim and Lee.
You know, Al Holloway had a 72-yard touchdown earlier this year against Houston. So he's that little flyer from Arkansas who can make the big play. Hebert found him. Quite an individual. 2 touchdown catches against this club in the championship game last July in Denver. This is Kelvin Bryant, right side. This program is being brought to you as an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports. Now let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
WPBI TV, Channel 6, Philadelphia.
Second down for Chuck Fusina. Goes to the quick out to Riley. Riley will be short of the first. And we have 1:33 remaining in the half.
This could be an important time right now for the Stars with the momentum changing. If they can get this ball, work it down into field position for either a field goal or a touchdown, that could really be a shot in the arm for them.
Third down, call it 3. For the Stars. Obvious audible. Look at 44 to the left of your screen. That's Kelvin Bryant who's trying to relay the message. Fusina in trouble. John Banaszak again. Big number 76. An outstanding first half for that guy.
Oh, he's red hot today. 3 Super Bowl rings when he was with Pittsburgh.
Second timeout.
So Michigan calls timeout to stop the clock with 1:29 remaining.
Look how quick Banaszak is off the ball here, Tim, number 76. He's in that backfield right now. Goes right for Fusina's legs, cuts him down.
Ran right by Chuck Comiskey, the 290-pounder out of Mississippi. And there are also rumblings, Lee Grosscup, of a possible coaching change in Arizona. The Wranglers lost again last night to the Los Angeles Express.
The rumor we heard was that Frank Kush is being considered to replace George Allen.
Of course, George Allen, the only coach in football history that has not had a losing season. With
Look at this
over
kick.
100
Look
wins.
at this punt.
Walter Broughton takes the football near the 30-yard line, and that's where Bobby Hebert will have 1 minute and 22 seconds to work.
Clarify, of course, that is only a rumor. That is certainly not news. George Allen still has a chance to have a winning season. And Frank Kush is still the coach of the Colts. Indianapolis Colts.
Those are the stats on Bobby Hebert. 17 interceptions, though, over the last 8 ball games. First down, with time, across the middle. The catch is made by Anthony Allen. Spectacular catch against a zone defense. George Cooper, number 56 of Philadelphia, is down. He's injured. Now he's up and he's limping. Bobby Hebert trying to get the offense back to the line of scrimmage.
Bobby Hebert hot now. Play action fake. Waggle left. Leaping catch by Anthony Allen, who we saw earlier with the Los Angeles Express.
Hebert scrambles right, has some room up to the 46, 44-yard line into Philadelphia territory. And Michigan trying to stop the clock at 1 minute.
Recent events should be a shot in the arm to the self-confidence of Bobby Hebert.
This is their final timeout.
You heard Tommy Miller, our referee, say that this is the final timeout of the half for Michigan. Bobby Hebert, USFL Player of the Year in some publications last year, the most valuable player in the title game. Awkward style of throwing, but one of the most efficient passers in the league. Came out, led the Panthers to a 6-0 start, then fell upon hard times, had his confidence shaken. And Michigan has lost 6 of its last 7 ball games, but he's a fighter, a competitive athlete, cut off Louisiana.
His college coach, of course, was A.L. Williams, who coached both Terry Bradshaw and Joe Ferguson in high school. Hebert did not play the quarterback position originally in high school. He was a defensive end and defensive back. But he had a strong arm. He gradually developed a good one at Northwestern State in Louisiana, and then came out of nowhere to be the player of the year in some circles, an MVP in the championship game as a rookie.
You mentioned Lee Gross Cup, the combination and the chemistry that they use for the rating of quarterback in this league. Bobby Hebert, after the first 6 games, had a quarterback rating of 112. The last 7 games, his rating has dropped to 53. Second down and a long 3 yards. 1 minute exactly to play in the half. Hebert under pressure, now throws, has a man, it's Anthony Allen to the 24-yard line. And Hebert drilled that ball into coverage between 2 defenders.
We've liked Anthony Allen before. We saw him earlier when he was with the Los Angeles Express. He's out of the University of Washington, where he was 3rd in career receiving there for the Huskies.
Hurry up offense, 50 seconds left. They beat the blitz. No, they don't. Ken Lacey has the ball thrown properly, but he can't hold on.
Ken Lacey, who is booed normally, draws a few more boos when he drops that pass. Hebert's hot right now, throwing the ball with a lot more authority, Tim.
Keep in mind, the Panthers have no timeouts remaining in this half. 47 seconds remain.
5 of 13 now for Hebert, 142, 1 touchdown. He has thrown 1 interception, but quite an improvement over where he was 10 minutes ago.
Second down, 10 yards for the first. More importantly, they need 25 for the touchdown. Broughton in motion. Philadelphia jumps. Flags fly, and Lacey takes it to the 20-yard line. So the penalty will stop the clock at 43 seconds. Questionable call. Had there not been a penalty, the clock would have continued to roll. But it is against Philadelphia.
The questionable call you mentioned is a draw play. Let's watch and see if we can see the infraction by Philadelphia. I think you see it clearly right there.
Looked like Pete Kugler came across the neutral zone and into Michigan territory there, and they're going to call him and flag him for 5 yards. So they move it down a little bit closer to that Michigan goal line.
200 total points.
I think even more impressive than that is the fact that they've only given up 16 points in the first half over the last 6 games. 2nd and 5. Hebert throws to Williams. He's not looking.
He should have been, though.
Well, Hebert obviously showing the frustration that has plagued this team over the last 7 games.
John Williams has been the big playman as a runner, but he has had lapses as a receiver and has either been not looking or has dropped passes in recent weeks.
Albert Bentley comes into the ball game. John Williams will leave. Bentley has not been used as a ball carrier yet. In this ball game, he has only 1 carry for the season. Third and 5. 39 seconds left. Bobby Hebert under pressure. Throws high, and it's almost intercepted by Garcia Lane. Even if he had anybody open that time, he didn't have time to find him.
He did not have much time, but look at Anthony Allen on the right side. He ran a corner route. He was wide open. He threw the ball to the other side to Derek Holloway. Anthony Allen had clearly beaten Jonathan Sutton, number 26, on the right side.
Novobiovich, number 3, comes on to attempt a 37-yarder. Missed 2 of his last 3 after hitting 10 in a row. This one has the distance, but it's wide left. So Novobiovich, who does have an injury to his hip, has missed 3 of his last 4 field goal attempts. Breakdowns continue to frustrate the Michigan Panthers. 32 seconds remaining in the half. The Stars lead 10-7. So Lee Gross Cup, after a fine drive by Michigan, they come up empty-handed.
They're still in pretty good shape, though, and we've got a close, hard-hitting football game, and you talked about the rematch of the championship game and how important it was for both teams. That's the way it's going to be. Chuck Fusina is going to be happy to take a 10-7 lead into the locker room at halftime.
Well, they're under 30 seconds now, so there will not be another play if they so choose to take it to the locker room. Referees will mark the spot. Fusina looks at the clock. Everybody else says, hey, let's call it a half. A 10-7 ball game. We'll go in, talk things over, and come out shortly.
It's been a ball game where you've really had a battle of the trenches. If you like a close, hard-hitting, defense-oriented game, you've got to love this one.
So, we'll be back with today's halftime activities after this message and a word from your local stations. The score, 10-7.
Jim Lampley again in New York. We welcome those of you who are at halftime of Philadelphia and Michigan, and let's bring you up to date now on what is happening in the other 2 games being played in the United States Football League. Very important game being played, of course, in the Louisiana Superdome, particularly important for the New Orleans Breakers, who need a win to stay in the running for a wild card berth in the Eastern Conference. Joe Cribbs has returned today for Birmingham, and the Stallions are in control of the football game. Early in the ball game, in the first quarter, Woodrow Wilson fumbled this kickoff after a Danny Miller field goal for Birmingham. Brian Mansfield recovered to set the Stallions up deep in scoring territory. Then they changed quarters, and on the first play of the second quarter, Cliff Stout scrambled around, looked in the end zone, found Darrell Mason, the tight end, for a 13-yard touchdown just on the back line. That made it 10-0 Birmingham. Stallions came back later on a flea flicker play, this 56-yard pass from Stout to his leading receiver, Jim Smith, and that set up a 2-yard run by Stout. So Stout has run for 1 and thrown for 1. Cribbs has carried the ball 9 times for 58 yards in his return from the 2-week holdout, and the Stallions, who are 11-2 on the season, are up 17-0 at halftime over New Orleans. Elsewhere, 2 teams who normally have enormous difficulty stopping each other today can't seem to score. Halftime between Washington and Pittsburgh, and the Maulers on an Eric Schubert field goal are on top in that one, 3-0.
Chuck Fusina of the Philadelphia Stars, 6 for 11, 52 yards. Kelvin Bryant has a touchdown and there was a field goal added for those 10 points. Bobby Hebert, 5 of 15 for 142 yards, and a touchdown pass to Derek Holloway for 80 yards. But in my mind, as you look at Novobiovich, number 3, ready to kick it off, the story has been John Banaszak, Lee Gross Cup, who has a fumble recovery, a tip pass, a sack, and 2 hurries.
He has been the defensive star of the game for Michigan.
Mark McCants is the deep man for Philadelphia. The ball won't get that far. It's taken by the up-back. At the 30, the 35, to the 34-yard line goes Ken Dunnick, the tight end, number 80. So let me set that offensive lineup for you then to start the second half for Philadelphia. The quarterback, of course, is Chuck Tusino. We mentioned his numbers, 6 of 11, 52 yards. David Riley and Kelvin Bryant are your setbacks. Scott Fitzke and Willie Collier are your wideouts. Your tight end, Steve Folsom. Then the offensive line, Big Brad Oates, 265, George Gilbert, 270, Bart Oates, 265, Chuck Kaminsky, 290, and Irv Eatman, 271. Certainly one of the larger offensive lines in the USFL.
Carry the ball.
First down from the 34. The give straight ahead. Riley out across the 45, near midfield. They'll mark it at the 48-yard line. Michigan's defense that is on the field right now did such a spectacular job in the first half. Larry Bethea comes back into the ball game. The other down linemen, David Tipton and John Banaszak. The linebackers, Kyle Borland, John Corker, Ray Bentley, and Robert Pennywell. The right side, fumble. Michigan gets the football back. Turnover the Panthers. Go back to the offense. And it's John Corker, number 57, who makes the recovery. And again, it was John Banaszak who forced the fumble. What a game he's playing, Lee Groscup.
You just talked about him again. We talked about him as the defensive star of the first half. Watch him. Number 76. Left of your screen. He's in pursuit of Kelvin Bryant. Number 44. Kelvin spinning. There, he strips the ball, and number 57, John Corker, along the sidelines, covers the ball and moves 3 more steps forward.
Give number 45, Tom Moriarty, an assist on that tackle. The ball in Philadelphia territory at the 47. Bobby Hebert's the quarterback. The wideouts Anthony Allen and Derek Holloway. This is John Williams. Picks up a very tough 2 yards. Sam Mills and John Bunning are there to make the tackle. There are 2 players down on the turf, both Philadelphia.
Gibson is one,
and John Bunning's the other. Remember, John Bunning is an 11-year veteran, played with the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go down very quickly. Al Trotwick to the sidelines.
All right, Tim, here's John Banaszak having one heck of a day. John, you've been through more slumps than most players on this team with all your years. Have you come into this game with a different attitude than you think some of the other players have had?
Well, I know that in order for us to play well defensively, it's up to me to go out there and have a good game. I'm the oldest guy in this team, and you know, I think there's a lot of responsibility on my shoulders.
All right, there is a lot of responsibility there. You're having a good game, and Michigan is playing well defensively. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you very much, Alan. It is guys like Banaszak who can lead this team out of the doldrums. They've been looking for leaders. John Bunning is up, and we'll be right back. John Bunning has left the field. It looks like he is okay. He walked off under his own power. George Jameson, number 58, will come in and replace him as you look at Jim Mora, the head coach of the Philadelphia Stars. From the 45-yard line, Bobby Hebert has second down and 8. He sends Anthony Allen in motion. And he goes to Allen, who can't hold on to the football. The pass was there. Allen had it in his hands and could not hold on. Now, when Anthony Carter broke his arm 7 games ago, the Michigan Panthers were looking for some speed and a fine receiver they could put on the outside, so they went after Anthony Allen from L.A., and he has not, quite frankly, to be brutally honest, supplied the talent that they've been looking for on the wideout receivers. Allen has made only 3 catches so far for the Panthers. John Bunning has a neck contusion. We don't know if he will be back. Meanwhile, Jameson is in. 3rd and 8, the situation for Hebert. With time, throws and bounces it to Anthony Allen. So the crowd, very vociferous again with its boos. Aimed both at Hebert and Anthony Allen on that series. But there he is, number 76, John Banaszak, to offer some confidence.
You talked about his role as a leader because he is a veteran. He knows during times like this that leadership is important.
Bobby Hebert missed his last 5 passes. Novo Biovic is on to punt it away. The deep man is Garcia Lane for Philadelphia, and he is standing back on the 10-yard line, number 47. Novo drops the football, and he's going to be nailed. Novo throws the ball back to Jonathan Sutton. And, of course, you can't advance a fumble, so it'll be Philadelphia ball on the 35. But a mental error by a guy who has not been playing very well, Novo Biovic.
The snap first. The snap's okay. He loves the snap. John Corker threw it back there pretty good. 82. Victor Harrison applies the pressure. He tries to get the ball away, and it winds up in the hands of Jonathan Sutton, number 26. Ball's a little low, but it should have been fielded. John Corker threw it back there. Now watch Novo trying to run the ball. Reminds me of what Garo Yepremian did back in 1972 for the Washington Redskins in the Super Bowl. Remember that? For the Miami Dolphins?
Against the Redskins. They certainly do. If Fusina has a man, it's Fitzke. Hook and lateral. This is Kelvin Bryant. Touchdown, Philadelphia. The old hook and lateral. Well, that'll break the spirits of a fighting Panther ball club that has struggled in mediocrity over the last several weeks, but played quite well in this game until they started the second half. So Larry Bethea doesn't want any action in the end zone, and of course he gets in the middle to break it up.
Philadelphia, we talked about as the most opportunistic football team in the USFL. Here comes the hook and lateral. Fitzke on the hook. Kelvin Bryant gets the lateral. McKeever is beaten. He got a little cocky there, though, Tim. You know that he almost put his arms up and flew in there a little too soon.
Kyle Borland, I think, was man coverage on the back out of the backfield as David Trout makes the extra point. It looked like they were in man coverage. The linebacker never picked up the back. The wide out couldn't handle both of them. 17-7. 17-7, the Stars. The biggest cheer of the second half for the cheerleaders as they come out to represent the Michigan Panthers. Big touchdown after a mental error by the Panthers. Novo Biovic gave it back to the Stars, and it took him one play to score. David Trout, number 1, will kick it away. It'll be Bentley and Futrell at the goal line for the Panthers. Albert Bentley at the 6. To the 15, no more. Herbert Harris, good coverage. Outstanding special team effort by the Philadelphia.
Another look at the last touchdown. Tim, you talked about the man coverage. Let's watch that coverage. Vito McKeever, number 36, has Scott Fitzke. He's on the hook. Now, Borland is supposed to get around from his linebacker position to cover the trailing back, Bryant, who takes the lateral. He is not there in time, not in good position, and it's just a foot race to the end zone, which Bryant wins.
Listen to the boos as Bobby Hebert comes out.
He's been cold, he's been hot, he's been cold again. He has missed his last 5 passes.
Anthony Allen, Derek Holloway, the wide receivers. Lacey and Williams, the setbacks. First down from the 18. Play action. Anthony Allen. Anthony Allen is nailed. They call it a completion, and they'll down it there. Well, now they say no completion. They'll take it back. So Anthony Allen had the football, but was shaken loose by Jonathan Sutton. Right now, Scott Fitzke's without Trotwick.
He is with me. Scott, what did you see that Michigan was doing that made you think that play would work?
Well, early in first downs, first of all, we've been running the ball a lot, so we felt we'd come out the second half and change up a little. And we worked on this flea flicker a little bit during the week. What they do is they're playing my side with a cover 3 zone, basically a man coverage on my side. And Kelvin coming out of the backfield running with the linebacker, and it's just those 2 guys. And if they throw me a quick pass, Kelvin's going to outrun his linebacker, and the guy came up and hit me right as I threw it, and it was Kelvin to the end zone.
And of course, Kelvin's the man to finish the play. Back to you, Tim.
Derek Holloway, obviously interfered with. Flags fly. And it'll be pass interference against Mike Lush and Jonathan Sutton. But one of them was there to take down the wide receiver, Derek Holloway.
We'll see right here. Derek Holloway, number 29. Jonathan Sutton pushes him right there. 5 yards. You can chuck for the first 5, can't you?
You can hit him for the first 5, but I think he held on to the back of his jersey. Let's go down for the call.
Interference, defense, number 26.
Your clarification. We saw him grab the back of the jersey of Derek Holloway, and they'll call holding.
Now watch Jonathan Sutton, number 26. He does chuck him there, but like you say, he grabs a hold of the back of his jersey right there, so he's called for holding. Clarification is holding, not pass interference.
Automatic first down.
Automatic first down, says Tommy Miller, our referee. Holding against Jonathan Sutton. So the ball goes back to the 23-yard line, and that's where the Panthers will have it.
I think this is an important series for the Michigan Panthers, Tim, for obvious reasons.
17-7 is our score. We've got 11 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the third quarter from the Silverdome in Pontiac. Albert Bentley. And Bentley across the 30 to the 33-yard line.
That's his first carry as a professional. I'm talking about from the line of scrimmage.
Got some good blocks on the right side. They cleaned out the linebackers, cut off the corner, and Bentley took the corner for his own.
Frankly, I'm glad to see him in action because I have liked the way he's looked on returns. He averaged 29 yards last week against the Los Angeles Express. Of course, he had a great career at Miami. He was a walk-on there. Played with Kozar and Kelly during his time at Miami. 10 yards on the carry for Bentley.
He was drafted by the Blitz. His rights were obtained for John Arnott here in Michigan. The fake to Bentley. Play action. Going deep. Hebert now is intended for Holloway, and it'll be intercepted by Mike Lush.
That will bring out the Bluebirds. It does.
I think it will also bring out Whit Taylor, the backup quarterback.
From Bobby Hebert's viewpoint, you can see that he's going play action pass, little misdirection fake, sets up at 8 yards, looks deep. He's trying to find Derek Holloway. You can see that he was pressured. Now from Holloway's viewpoint, streak or fly pattern. He's just trying to outrun Jonathan Sutton. Mike Lush is playing center field right there. Hebert threw the ball too much to the inside. Lush was right there.
18 interceptions in his last 8 games. That's more interceptions than Bobby Hebert had all last year. Kusina going to his tight end, Folsom. First down, Philadelphia. Bobby Hebert has missed his last 7 passes. He is now 5 of 19 for 142 yards and 2 interceptions.
He's cold. Chuck Kusina is getting hot. That pass to Steve Folsom was a beauty along the right sideline. Folsom tied for the league, for the leadership in receptions coming into today's game. He and Willie Collier both had 42 as of today.
So we'll mark that up to be 44 receptions now for the tight end. This is Kelvin Bryant. He may lose a yard. David Tipton, John Corker.
And guess who? John Banaszak. Wow, what a day he's having.
Big Dave Tipton.
Quite a story.
Kicked around the National Football League, couldn't catch on with any of the teams, went up to the Canadian Football League, was released there and started working in the mines. Got a call, they pulled him back out of the coal mines, and now he's found a job as the team leader and captain of the defense of the Michigan Panthers. I asked him Friday what it would take to get this club turned around. He said, oh, a great big stick.
Like that.
Kelvin Bryant to midfield. Kelvin Bryant to the 46-yard line. I tell you, Kelvin's doing a lot of talking. You mentioned that he hot-dogged it on his touchdown run. I think the defense is getting a little bit frustrated with that.
Kelvin Bryant gets a good opening right here. Great opening right up the middle. And now he shows you some of that speed. Despite the fact that he's nearly 200 pounds, he has sprinter speed. He was overshadowed his first couple of years at North Carolina by a guy named Famous famous Amos Lawrence. I covered Kelvin in 1980. Thought he would be a good one. That was his sophomore season. He continued to get better. He might be the best they've ever had. There. Great tradition of tailbacks from North Carolina.
Fusina on first down, goes underneath. This is Riley to the 40, sidesteps a tackle, and bowls his way down to the 35-yard line. David Riley.
David Riley, a physical player out of West Virginia, played for Frank Signetti there, has been getting better and better in recent weeks, both as a runner and as a receiver. Takes the swing pass here. Watch the quick feet. Watch the power. Look at the energy right there. Tackle made once again. Boy, this guy is ubiquitous. John Banaszak, number 76. That's a euphemistic way of saying he's seemingly everywhere.
Stars average 33 minutes a game in time of possession as Fusina goes down, and they're eating the clock up on this drive. We're down to 8 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Fusina's a scrambler.
Well, he fumbled the snap there, Tim, and it was simply a broken play. He made the most of a bad situation. But we talked about this earlier. He was the leading rusher in the league among quarterbacks. I particularly like the way he performed in a ball game last year against the old Chicago Blitz. George Elliston, you covered that game as a sideline commentator. You remember how he broke that game wide open in the second half, mostly with his running.
And he caught a touchdown pass. He was the third leading rusher on the Stars team last year with 285 yards. This is David Riley. Bangs his way down to the 26-yard line.
Kelly J. Hayes was very close in his prediction on attendance.
Well, Kelly said 19,6. The actual attendance, 20,381.
Look at the surge of the offensive line of Philadelphia, a unit that averages 272 pounds. They can flat blow you out of there. Probably the best of the bunch is Irv Eatman, number 75, but don't forget Chuck Comiskey, number 69, out of Ole Miss. Comiskey's dog, by the way, is nicknamed Hoss. And after Hoss Cartwright, isn't your daddy's nickname Hoss also?
Sure, Hoss Brandt.
Hoss Brandt. This game's going back to Washington, D.C. for the first time.
Hoss and Granny are watching it.
There's the average I
third down in inches. The give up the middle is to Riley. Riley loses the football, but I think they're going to call it down and give him the first down yardage. They do. Vito McKeever came up and made the hit. It was not soon enough. First down Philadelphia. 6:55 remaining, third quarter.
As I was saying, that offensive line is massive. We were talking about the 272-pound average. And every one of those guys is a good one. The Oates brothers, of course, played at BYU.
First down from the 25. Fusina, long count. Folsom jumps off sides. You know, Negroes Cup, that Kelvin Bryant has not had a 100-yard day since injuring his knee.
Number 70, the offense.
Back on April 19th.
Look to the far right of your screen right here. You will see the infraction. Steve Folsom, number 89, jumps right there. Moves his right foot. Can't get back. Penalty.
Willie Collier to the bottom of the screen. Fitzke to the top. Fusina drops it over the middle. Intended for Riley. Incomplete. A middle screen that never developed. I mentioned that Kelvin Bryant has not had a 100-yard game since coming back from the knee injury. He injured his knee April 19th. And you have to wonder if part of that is because David Riley has performed so well.
That's a good point.
Kelvin has 12 carries, 49 yards in the afternoon here. Coming into the game, he needed 89 yards to reach the 1,000 for the season. Second and 15 for Fusina. This is Fitzke. 360 down to the 19-yard line. Scott Fitzke. Philadelphia's just eating the clock up now.
We showed you the surge of the offensive line on a running play. Now watch him go to work protecting Chuck Fusina. Look at that. Eatman takes his man outside. Trubisky stands his guy up. Everybody does their job. Chuck Fusina has a perfect pocket there. You see the pocket for him? That's outstanding.
Tom Donovan, number 87, comes into the ball game. He's at the very bottom of your screen. 81 is Fitzke. 3rd and 4. Fusina drops the ball to Riley. Riley inside the 15. He goes out of bounds on the 8-yard line. Very methodical drive by the Philadelphia Stars, led by that man, Chuck Fusina.
This is vintage Fusina on this drive. Watch, he senses the pressure. We showed you this in the pregame show. Throws off the back foot. There's David Riley, number 35, out in the right flat. You know, Bob Greasy was Chuck Fusina's hero. He said growing up in Pennsylvania, of course, everybody admired Joe Namath. But he looked at Greasy and he said, I think my style is more like his. So he kind of patterned himself after Bob Greasy.
The intellectual. 1st and goal from the 7. Kelvin Bryant tiptoes over the down men inside the 5 to the 2-yard line.
You're right. This is a great star drive. This is what they do best. A beautiful combination of runs, high percentage passes, play action passes, alertness by quarterback Chuck Fusina. All of the things that have made them the most dominating team in the league in the short history of the United States Football League.
Second and goal from the 2. Touchdown, yes, Philadelphia. David Riley. Well, I'll tell you what. David Riley is openly intimidating the Michigan Panthers.
That's right. He did to Kyle Borland, number 52. That's not a smart guy to mess with. That would be taunting in the NFL. That would be a penalty.
David Trout on to attempt the extra point. And there's no question about it. David Trout knocks it through. So, David Riley now has 7 touchdowns in the last 5 games. He is red hot for the Philadelphia Stars. The statistics we were just talking about. David Riley, 7 touchdowns in the last 5 games. Certainly has taken a lot of the heat off Kelvin Bryant. David Trout will now kick it back to Michigan. And Michigan, of course, has been struggling with turnovers. On the sidelines, we did not see Whit Taylor loosen up. We heard before the ball game that if Bobby Hebert had some problems, that Whit Taylor would come into the ball game. We have not seen him as of yet. High kick by Trout. Bobby Futrell will take it on the 2. Futrell coughs up the football. Michigan gets it back, I do believe. So, Lee Gross Cup. Why?
Why what?
Why do they have so many turnovers? How can you not hold on to the football? You were a scout. You were a pro football player.
I think if I knew that, I'd be coaching the Michigan Panthers right now.
You were a head coach at one time, weren't you?
I was a head coach and starting quarterback for 1 week in 1965 for the old Hartford Charter Oaks of the Continental Football League. My team lost 62-zip. That's why I'm not a coach anymore. The boos are for Bobby Hebert, who has returned to the game right now. Albert Bentley in the lineup. We're seeing him now as a running back. Got his first carry earlier today.
From the 16-yard line, first down for Hebert. The blitz is on, throw over to his tight end, and that's Mike Cobb. So the streak is still alive. Mike Cobb has caught a pass in every one of the Michigan Panthers' 34 straight games. However, there is a flag on the field. Turnovers and fumbles more specifically, something that you really you can't control. You can tell your running backs and your receivers to hold on to the football all you want, but it's concentration.
Holding, 78 of the offense. Still first down.
Ken Dallafor is called for holding, number 78. So they move Michigan back inside their own 10. The ball resting on the 8. It'll be first and 18. And it nullifies the catch by Mike Cobb, so he still has yet to make a catch in this ball game. Pressure on Hebert.
Bob.
He's going deep for Broughton, and it's almost intercepted again by Jonathan Sutton.
More boos for Hebert. He has missed his last 8 passes now, Tim. As I said, he was cold, he was hot, he's been cold again. This is the coldest he's been in the game. As you watch Jonathan Sutton at the tail end of the last play right there, he was trying to throw the bomb to Walter Broughton, who caught a Hail Mary pass last week against the Los Angeles Express.
Michigan dropped into second place in the Central Division last week. They have a 7-6 record, the same they had this time last year on the 14th week. However, this year, they're in a tailspin. They've lost 6 of their last 7, so the momentum is going in the opposite direction. This pass intended for Holloway, incomplete. Again, Jonathan Sutton, again the boos, and they start to chant now for Whit Taylor.
That's what they're saying. We want Taylor. Derek Holloway, out of the University of Arkansas. Fastest man on the team. Sideline cut. Good coverage there by number 26, Jonathan Sutton. He comes over the shoulder. Frustration showing on the face right there of head coach Jim Stanley out of Texas A&M. Right next to him, number 10, is Whit Taylor.
The ball on the 8. It's 3rd and 18. Here comes Mills. The Stars on the blitz. Hebert in trouble. Has room to run, but instead throws, and it's badly thrown and intercepted by Scott Warner, number 25, the nickelback. Well, Ken Lacey looks at Hebert and says he was open, but you have to really feel for the number 11, the quarterback, Bobby Hebert.
Looking for Walter Broughton is Bobby Hebert, and watch Scott Warner, one of 2 players known as the Stardust Twins, an all-leaguer out of the University of Georgia, where he was an All-American. He's in perfect position. When he was at Georgia, he was one of the most exciting Bulldogs I have ever seen, Tim.
The trainers are working on Walter Broughton, the wide receiver. He was injured on the tackle.
Let's see if we can see Walter Broughton as he's running his pass cut here. Over the middle. Crossing pattern. Jonathan Sutton there on the coverage. Here comes the interception by Scott Warner. The ball obviously overthrown. He tries to make the tackle. I think it looks like an arm injury.
First down. Fouls on number 91.
Even before he hit the ground, he was grasping at his right shoulder. And they continue to work on him. Meanwhile, Bobby Hebert has missed his last 10 passes in a row. He is 0 for 7 in this half. As you look at Scott Warner, the man who made the interception, and there is a very frustrated and disappointed Bobby Hebert.
The playoff picture continues to darken for New Orleans. First play of the 4th quarter, and Cliff Stout, who's having a hot day for the Birmingham Stallions, throws a seeing eye pass into the end zone to Joey Jones. Remarkable catch by Jones. 22-yard touchdown, and the Stallions lead the Breakers 24-zip. Back to Tim Brand.
So Birmingham continues to roll. And coming up next week on ABC Sports, New Jersey at Tampa Bay will be one of the games we will be showing you. Arizona at Birmingham, Houston at Denver. So check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Walter Broughton, who was injured on that last play, making the tackle, injured his right shoulder. Chuck Fusina, the engineer for the Philadelphia Stars, has first down, the ball on the 37 in Michigan territory. With time, going deep, has a man, and it's incomplete. Herbert Harris was open, And the ball was on the money. He just couldn't make the catch.
That's all right, Joe. Leave it down here, get it. Looked like Harris was tripped there, Tim. That's why I was surprised we didn't see a flag. Here he is, number 84 in isolation. He's being covered by Vito McKeever, number 36. No, he just tripped over his own feet. He wasn't tripped by anybody else. Good call there. He should have caught the pass. It would have been a touchdown for Philadelphia.
Well, Chuck Fusina going for the jugular here. With a 24-7 lead, second down, he was going for all the marbles. Willie Collier in motion. The lone setback is Kelvin Bryant. It's the draw to Bryant. Inside the 30 to the 27-yard line.
That's a good play for Kelvin Bryant because he gets the ball with enough depth that he can utilize his vision and also his speed. You look at his numbers right there, you see that he's approaching well, looks like he's over the 1,000-yard mark. That's with receptions, too. As an all-purpose player, he's over 1,000 yards again.
First down at the 26, Philadelphia. Scott Fitzke is the wide out in motion. This is Fusina. He's looking down for Riley, and Riley has it. He loses the football as he crosses the goal line. It'll be a touchback. Well, that was another touchdown Philadelphia had Riley held on to the football. So Michigan gets a break. They'll bring it out. It's a touchback, and the Panthers will take over at the 20. Now the key, Lee Groscup, is did he have possession as he crossed the invisible plane at the goal line?
The officials think he did, obviously. No, they think he didn't. Riley is at the top of your screen right here, swinging out of the backfield. Leaves everybody behind.
Borland fell down.
I don't know. He may have had it.
Good call. He had it at the 1 and lost it before he ever crossed the goal line. The ball goes out. It's a touchback. So, Bobby Hebert comes back into the ball game. We still have not seen Whit Taylor. 2 minutes, 43 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 24-7 is our score. Philadelphia. Hebert with time. Now Cobb has his catch, and the streak is alive. So Mike Cobb has made a catch in 34 straight ball games.
He and Trumaine Johnson, I believe, are the only two in the league. Is that correct?
That is correct. Trumaine had 12 catches last night in the loss to Los Angeles. Anthony Allen comes to the bottom of the screen. Derek Holloway goes to the top. The setbacks are Lacey and Bentley. Zone defense by the Stars. The give to Lacey takes it to the 31-yard line. A loss today would make the Michigan Panthers 7-7. And it certainly would hurt their chances for another playoff appearance in the Central Division. Houston has the lead. Oklahoma is in third place. Bobby Hebert, first down, wants to throw to Holloway. Holloway cannot get high enough to make the catch. Well, Holloway's other receiving mate on the opposite side of the field is injured, and right now Al Trotwig is with him.
Okay, Walter Broughton with me now. Walter, you got some bad news, separated shoulder for you.
Yeah, I dislocated my shoulder when I passed previous trying to tackle the guy that intercepted the pass.
It's a kind of a depressing atmosphere over here. How would you assess the game so far?
Well, you know, Philadelphia's a good team. We've given them all the points that they got. We just got to convert the ones that they give us. And if we do that, we'll be right back in this game.
All right, Walter, thank you. Back to you, Tim.
There's plenty of time now. 1 minute, 19 seconds remaining in the third quarter. So we have an entire stanza to go. This pass thrown on the run. It bounces to Holloway, and it'll be ruled incomplete. Hebert has now completed only one pass in the second half.
Bobby Hebert now 6 of 25. He is having a terrible time here in the second half. He did throw under a little bit of pressure, particularly from the linebackers who are blitzing, but he still hurried himself. That's what happens when you start to lose your confidence. That's what happens when you get the combination of drop passes, interceptions, and sacks.
Brings up 3rd and 10 from the 31-yard line. Nickel defense by the Stars. They know Hebert has to throw. He does to Holloway. Holloway should have a catch. He does. Well, the Stars don't like the call because Holloway's feet never touched before he went out of bounds, but he was ridden out of bounds by the defensive back, and the side judge ruled that he would have been in bounds had he not been hit.
This is the best pass that Hebert has thrown here in the second half as he throws the sideline cut to Derek Holloway, covered perfectly there by number 47 Garcia Lane, the rookie out of Ohio State. Second completion of the second half. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I'm saying it's a 2-feet leg. You got to have both feet in bounds to make the catch, and he had one, but he was ridden out of bounds by Garcia Lane, so it is a completion.
Don't give me signals like that.
Quarterbacks love those signals. From the 41-yard line, first down for Bobby Hebert. Pumps, reloads, hits his tight end, Mike Cobb, and Cobb takes it up to the 47-yard line.
The pump fake that you mentioned was for Anthony Allen, who was running a hook and go, and then he came underneath to Mike Cobb.
Didn't mean to confuse you, Coach.
Watch Mike Cobb here, Tim, number 89. He blocks first and then delays. He sees that Hebert is not able to go to his deep man, and so he becomes an outlet receiver, comes underneath very effectively. Hebert just dumps the ball off to him.
2nd and 2, the give to Bentley to midfield, and that'll be it. The linebackers fill, and they fill quickly. John Bunning is back in the ball game now, number 59. He had a neck injury earlier. He went out. Jamison came in. John Bunning is back. 11-year veteran with the Philadelphia Eagles from Springbrook High School in Silver Spring, Maryland.
That's good news for them because, as you mentioned, he's the player they have with the most experience. They look to him for leadership.
John has a son named Brooks, named after Brooks Robinson of the Baltimore Orioles. Formerly of the Baltimore Orioles, now of the Hall of Fame. Well, you hear the gun. So the score remains the same with Philadelphia in command. The United States Football League, Philadelphia and Michigan, will continue after this message and a word from our local stations. The Michigan Panthers have the football as we start the 4th quarter. However, they trail. You saw that. It's a commanding Stars ball game. It is 3rd and 1.5. Short yardage offense. Power play left side is Albert Bentley, and I don't know if he made it, Lee Grosscup. But he's awfully close.
We look at the 3rd quarter numbers right there, Tim. You can see how Philadelphia has surpassed Michigan now in total yards, and it's more significant, more indicative of the way this game has really gone. For a while, those statistics were very misleading because it showed Michigan dominating in total yards, but Philadelphia leading on the scoreboard. Now the Stars are leading both in total yards and on the scoreboard.
The chains are on the field. It is a first down for the Panthers. Right now, I think Michigan is just grasping for any kind of big play to get them back in this ball game.
That's exactly what they need. Bobby Hebert, you look at his numbers, he was 5 of 15 in the first half for 142 yards. In the second half, he has been just 3 for 12 for 27 yards. And you look at that number, it shows how they have committed turnovers, so many turnovers in the last 8 games.
So the Panthers move into Philadelphia territory. It is now first down for Bobby Hebert. 2-step drop, timing pattern. This is Holloway, first down. And oh my, if the offense can come back to life, you know it has the talent to put some points on the board quickly. Right now, it's 24-7 Stars.
So for the game right now, Hebert with that completion is now 9 of 28. That ball was well thrown, though. The quick passing game can be very effective, particularly with a receiver like Derek Holloway. You create an immediate open field situation for him with plays like that one.
Holloway and Allen are your wideouts for Bobby Hebert. And again on first down, he wants to throw. He does, and it's complete to his tight end Cobb, who's up close to another first down. David intercepted. One of the leaders on the defense is now on the sidelines with Al Trotwig.
A little disconsolate walking along the sidelines here. What are your emotions at this point?
Well, we're down, and we got to have some quick points by offense. You know, it's frustrating. We got a quarter to go. They're playing well. They can play conservative right now. You know, they don't have to throw the ball. They can keep us off our feet. So we're a little worried right now.
All right, David. Thank you. Back to you, Tim.
Thanks, Al. We do have 13 minutes and 22 seconds left. Bobby Hebert trying now to find that hot hand, trying to get some points on the board.
Blitz.
The ball is caught. Bentley spins and turns and gets 5 yards out of a play where he may have had a loss. Mike Lush, the man in the secondary, came up, made contact immediately, but with that low center of gravity, Bentley spun, got loose, and made some yardage.
Great effort by Bentley, as you see that's his first catch of the season. We're looking at bunting here in isolation. Watch him apply the pressure to Bobby Hebert. At Bentley, and this ball is thrown very low, Tim, number 32 out in the right flat. Look at that. That's practically off his shoelaces. Keeps his poise, spins off.
Hebert throws across the middle, and it's almost intercepted. Albert Bentley was there.
Almost intercepted, almost caught, almost intercepted again.
Well, Lenny Patrick had it in his hands. The ball went up. The defensive secondary man had it in his hands. And it was incomplete.
We just saw Jim Mora along the sidelines looking concerned. Michigan moving the ball again. Jim Mora, of course, played for Occidental in 1957. Graduate of Occidental College, later coached there. His roommate was Jack Kemp, the quarterback.
Big play for Michigan. It is third down and 5. Lenny Patrick switches to the left side. It is power left, and he's not going to get the pass off. The Stars come with a full house, and Antonio Gibson on the safety blitz sacks Bobby Hebert.
I think the Stars do that as well as any team in the league. The safety blitz I'm talking about. Hebert had completed 5 in a row. Watch at the top right-hand corner of your screen, and you'll see Antonio Gibson, number 23, coming on one of his patented safety blitzes. Bobby Hebert doesn't see him. He's on the blind side as Hebert is looking to his left, and now right now he's on him. Swoops right down on Bobby Hebert.
44-yard attempt by Novo Bojovic. He's missed 3 of his last 4. This one, long enough, straight enough, and it's good. So, at least Michigan gets some points on the board. It is now 24-10. Philadelphia with 11:59 remaining. 24-10, 11:59 remaining in the ball game. Novo Bojovic will tee it up, and I wouldn't be surprised to see an onside kick attempt. Still plenty of time left, but Michigan does need the football back.
Why do you think there'll be an onside kick?
Oh, I don't think that there will be. I just said I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen. Michigan has done it before. They do need points. They need the football back.
Well,
and look at Philadelphia loading up.
Philadelphia thinks so too. You must know something.
They're loading up front. Novo does kick it away, and it'll be Mark McCants who takes it on the 6. And McCants can't find room. Tom Moriarty is there to take him down to the 22-yard line. Scott Warner and Novo Bojovic had a few words after Novo kicked it off.
Novo seems to have a few words with just about everybody. Every week he has a few words with somebody.
Oh, he's a talkative guy, very energetic. Favorite among the fans from Central Michigan University out of Titograd, Yugoslavia.
Well, you know, I think he may be the most flamboyant place kicker in the history of professional football. I've never seen anybody quite as flamboyant a kicker as Novo.
Well, Whit Taylor starts to warm up on the sidelines as David Riley carries it across the 26-yard line. So I think now that we're down to the 11-minute mark in the fourth quarter, Whit Taylor will come in, try to shake things up, try to get the offense moving for Michigan.
I think this is a very important defensive series right now for Michigan's unit here.
I think everything's important for Michigan now.
Everything's important for them, but right now, with 11 minutes and the clock winding down, the way things are going, if they can stop Philadelphia now, get the ball back in good field position, they could turn this game around. If not, you know what will happen.
One back offense. Riley's the one back. He carries straight up the middle.
Whit Taylor out of Vanderbilt. He rewrote the press guide when he was there. You could see he was just warming up along the sidelines.
Bobby Futrell comes into the lineup on defense, along with Will Coakley, the linebacker. So on 3rd and 6, the Panthers load up, nickel defense. They go to man coverage. Everybody rolls up now on the wide receivers. You can see the top of your screen, how tightly the defense comes up. Scott Spitzky hand signals back to Chuck Fusina. We'll see what the call is. Fusina made an audible call. Now he's going deep on man coverage. It is Fitzky. Incomplete. Bounced off the helmet of Vito McKeever. So good defense by the Panthers. Let's go down to Al Trotwig.
All right, Tim, I'm with Tyrone McGriff of the Panthers offensive line. Frustrating day for your unit, Tyrone, and not to come up with 6 on that last drive. I know you were real upset about it. I could see your face.
I'm upset anytime we come off the field not scoring, but I think we needed that real bad, and that might be the turning point, if not earlier to the game.
Is there still some unity left out there?
Oh, yeah, we got it. We got to go.
All right, they got to get out on the field.
Let them go, Al. They've got to play. A skyrocket of a punt by Sean Landeta. It goes 46 yards. Michigan has the football back. So we've got a full lineup coming up for you on ABC. 24-10 is our score here. Bobby Hebert remains at quarterback. He has 9 minutes and 42 seconds to work. This pass to Anthony Allen, a pickup of 9. So it'll be 2nd down and 1. Jonathan Sutton rides him out of bounds.
Anthony Allen, who you talked about earlier, Tim, has not really made a significant mark yet with the Panthers, but we know he's a good athlete. We saw him be very impressive at times with the Los Angeles Express, and of course he was 3rd in career receiving when he was at the University of Washington. And they've had some good receivers there with the Huskies. I think he's a good all-around athlete.
Derek Holloway, Anthony Allen, the wideouts. 2 setbacks, Lenny Patrick and Bentley. Drop pass over the middle. This is Holloway. Does not get a block from Lenny Patrick. Still turns the corner to the 42-yard line. Lenny Patrick put his head down and missed the linebacker, George Cooper, 56, who made the tackle.
This is an interesting pass cut, and we've seen Holloway run this many times. We saw Anthony Carter run it. It's the underneath route. He lets everything clear out. Runs slow. That's the key to it. He has to run under control after the linebackers have taken their drop. Here comes number 47. That's Garcia Lane, the cornerback. Hits him high, then holds him low, but he skips away. It's George Cooper, number 56, who finally puts him down.
Pretty good numbers for Derek Holloway on the day. He also had an 80-yard touchdown included in that. Hebert. Stars bring the blitz. This ball underthrown, almost intercepted by Jonathan Sutton. Panthers really need to catch fire. They need something to happen quickly.
Watch Albert Bentley go to work here, picking up a blitzing linebacker. This is Sam Mills, number 54, and you know what a physical player he is. But watch number 32 stick his head in the hay. You got to love that. Quarterback's got to love it. Nothing you like to see better than a guy picking up a blitzing linebacker going to work like that.
Albert Bentley, the most valuable player on the offense as a senior. The Miami National Champions, and look at this run.
Look at this horse go.
Even as we speak about Albert Bentley, he comes up with a big play, and he could be the catalyst this club needs to light the fire. He scored the winning touchdown in the Orange Bowl to give Miami the 31-30 win over Nebraska and the national championship that came with it.
We have been saying this more and more in recent weeks that we think Albert Bentley should get more of a chance to play in the backfield as well as being a return specialist. Look at him there. Look at the second effort, the third effort. Look at how he keeps those knees churning. Those legs are going like pistons.
16 yards on that carry. 8 minutes, 40 seconds left. There's still time. The Stars show blitz. They jump too early, so move them back a little bit more. And now tempers flare.
Pete Kugler, the nose tackler, getting into it.
Look at Mike Lush, number 27, having a few words with Dallafour.
I get the feeling there's no love lost between these two teams.
Well, they played twice before. And both games were close.
Contact for the center.
Watch Pete Kugler, the nose tackle, number 67. See it? He jumps right there. Makes contact with the center. Kugler, of course, out of Penn State. Bill Walsh of the San Francisco 49ers felt that Kugler was becoming one of the better nose tackles in professional football. Of course, he left the 49ers. Has made a difference despite injuries with Philadelphia.
1st and 5 for Bobby Hebert. Going deep. Intended for Anthony Allen, off his hands, and he almost had the touchdown. Jonathan Sutton was back there with him.
Anthony Allen, we talked about his all-around athletic ability. He's running a fly pattern here. Now watch him. Let's see how his concentration is. Good step-for-step coverage. That ball hit him right in the hands. Nothing is more frustrating to a quarterback than to have the ball be catchable in the end zone and wind up incomplete.
It'll be 2nd and 5 from the 37. Hebert to Bentley. Not enough for the first down. A pickup of 2.
We talked about linebacker John Bunting, number 59, the most experienced player in a really outstanding defensive unit. He takes his drop to the outside, retreats at a 45-degree angle, gets in position for the coverage. He sees that Bentley is going to be catching the ball underneath, comes up and delivers the hit. How was his performance? You're a former linebacker. How'd you do?
I'll tell you, the most important thing he did was drop down into a breakdown position. There's no way he's going to be as fast as Bentley, so he keeps that low center of gravity and forces him to make the move. This is a completion to Anthony Allen for the first down. The clock is a factor now with 7 minutes and 35 seconds left. Bobby Hebert has to fight the clock and the Philadelphia Stars.
You used the word catalyst a moment ago in regard to Bentley. I think Anthony Allen could be another guy, could be an important factor for Michigan if they're going to come on in the last part of the season. They're going to recover in the last part of the season.
From the 27, it's first down. Hebert drops it over the middle, and Lenny Patrick cuts back down inside the 20 to the 15-yard line. Lenny Patrick out of Alabama.
Resourceful runner, north and south runner. About 10 years ago, for the first time, I heard the term north and south running. You know why that is?
Going from goal line to goal line instead of going lateral.
Football fields in America run north and south.
From the 24-yard line, first down for Hebert under pressure. Gets out of it, throws incomplete to Anthony Allen. Again, there was good coverage by Jonathan Sutton, but the key to that play was the pressure that John Bunting and the blitz by Philadelphia put on Bobby Hebert.
Let's see if we can pick up John Bunting coming in here on the blitz. This is a close-up look at Bobby Hebert in the pocket. That hand that you saw right there belonged to John Bunting, the linebacker.
The strong side at the top of your screen. That's where the tight end is. Holloway and Allen are your wideouts. Patrick and Bentley the setbacks. 2nd and 10 from the 15. Straight ahead to the 12-yard line goes Lenny Patrick.
This has been an impressive drive for Michigan. This is what we saw the Panthers do early in the season. Tim, I think if we were to evaluate this 1984 season, there have been 3 phases. There was a Michigan phase, there was a Birmingham phase, and now you have the Philadelphia phase. Early on, it looked like Michigan was going to dominate this league. Remember, they were 6-0. Birmingham looked like the class of the league for a while. Now it's Philadelphia.
Philadelphia's lost only once all year. That was to New Jersey. And the Stars had 5 turnovers in that game. David Trout missed 2 passes. The blitz, and Hebert goes down. George Cooper, number 56, came through cleanly. And I don't think anybody even looked in his direction. George Cooper, a Detroit native, playing in front of the home folks here today.
Let's take a look at the pressure once again that's being applied to Bobby Hebert. George Cooper, the blitzing linebacker, is right in Bobby's face. No one picked him up.
Well, you hear the boos. We've got 5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. It's a 24-10 ball game, so Michigan needs 2 touchdowns, but instead they come on with Novo Bojovic instead of going for it on 4th down and 15. Bojovic is good. Well, he missed from 37 early, then made a 44-yarder. He makes this one. And with 5 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the ball game, it's 24-13.
Tim, what Michigan needs now, obviously, they need a touchdown with a 2-point play followed by a field goal. If they can get that, they could tie the game up, send it into overtime. And of course, you've mentioned this many times, and I like it. I like the 2-point rule.
Well, the ball doesn't go 10 yards, but it's touched by Philadelphia, and Michigan gets the ball back. So there's the big play. Well, the onside kick. We saw Michigan do it against LA last week. The onside kick, they got it back. They didn't get the ball 10 yards this time, but the up man muffed it. It hit a Philadelphia player, recovered by the Panthers.
Watch Michael McCants, number 90. Now, first of all, Novo kicks this ball perfectly, Tim. See McCants come up there? He crosses over the line, fumbles the ball. Mike Edwards, number 53, covers it for the Panthers. 2 straight weeks, they have successfully executed the onside kick.
The fans continue to boo Bobby Hebert, but Jim Stanley, the head coach, feels as if he wants to stay with the horse that brought him. 4 minutes, 48 seconds remaining. The ball is on the 44. First down, Panthers. Hebert to throw. Has a receiver, Anthony Allen. It's complete. First down, Panthers in Stars territory.
How quickly those boos turn to cheers.
Well, they bring it back. There's holding against the Panthers.
Sideline cut. Anthony Allen, number 87. That ball was thrown with a lot of authority. Jonathan Sutton is the man that hits him. Carries him out in midair, so it would have been a completed pass.
Number 55, offense, first down.
Well, the holding's called on Wayne Radloff, number 55, the center. So it's still first down, Michigan. Move them back, take away the big gainer, and they stay in their own territory.
Radloff, the center, right in the middle of your screen. Watch him. Watch his hands. See how he hooks him. He hooks Pete Kugler, number 67.
Instead of a first down in Star territory, now they have first down in 20 with everybody coming. And Hebert's in a whole heap of trouble.
He was already out of bounds when he threw it, Tim. That's why they're marking it along the sidelines.
Well, they got a lot of pressure back there by Buddy Moore, number 91, and Hebert didn't have much choice but to run out of there in a hurry.
Well, it's very fashionable for fans to boo the quarterback, but, you know, they don't take a lot of things into consideration. Protection can be a factor. Drop passes can be a factor. Hurries can be a factor.
You know, you could make Bobby Hebert feel like $1 million after this game if you go talk to him and tell him about your experience with boos when you were with the Charter Oaks.
Well, people actually came out to boo me in practice. I felt that was the final indignity.
From the 28-yard line, it is now second down and 26 yards for the first. Hebert to Bentley. Bentley gets a block, turns it up, and he's up near the 50-yard line. They'll mark it at the 47. Let's go down very quickly to Al Trotwig.
Panthers have said they need big plays. Mike Edwards on that onside kick recovery certainly did that.
Yeah, it was a kick that we practiced all year long, and so we needed it, so I went up there and got it. It's just one of those big plays that we've been looking for all through the game.
Optimistic once again.
Yeah, we needed a big play all through the game, and so Noble, he worked on the play every day, so I was just in the vicinity at the time, so I just picked it up.
All right, thank you, Mike. Back to you, Tim.
Well, you saw on 3rd and 4, the Panthers came up shy on their attempt to get a completion for the first. Scott Warner took it away, almost had the interception. It'll bring up 4th down now. And Bobby Hebert stays in the ball game because with 3 minutes and 49 seconds remaining, the Panthers have to go for the first down.
Scott Warner nearly had a cheap touchdown. Hebert now 17 of 40 in the passing department for 255 yards and that one touchdown, the bomb to Derek Holloway.
Well, if they don't get the first here, he can kiss it goodbye. The Stars show blitz. Long count. Hebert obviously checking off. And here comes the blitz. Mills in the backside. The pass incomplete. It was intended for Derek Holloway, and again, number 26, Jonathan Sutton, was there as the defender, and the pass was incomplete. So they give it back to the Stars with 3 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in the ball game, with our score remaining the same. Philadelphia 24, the Michigan Panthers 13. Lee, you'd have to say the holding penalty on that last drive by Michigan has to be the biggest play of the second half for the Panthers anyway. They had a first down in Stars territory with all the momentum in the world.
Old Mo had switched jerseys once again, and I think that is going to be the play they may look back on and say that's the one that finally killed us. Bobby Hebert right there, studying frustration. His season has really turned around in the last 7 weeks.
Got to be getting arm weary as well. 42 passes last week against L.A. This is Kelvin Bryant, who spins and turns and drives his way down to the 47-yard line into Michigan territory with 3:35 remaining. Well, as we come down to the final several weeks of the USFL season, we look at the teams that are in the playoff hunt. Birmingham, 31, New Orleans, 14. Birmingham has been red hot trying to keep pace here. Pittsburgh Maulers and the Washington Federals, two clubs that have been struggling, 15-6. That is now a final. Pittsburgh wins that one. 2nd and 7. Straight ahead, a gain of 3. David Riley. You look at Jim Moore, the head coach of the Philadelphia Stars, his club, certain to hold on here, has the best record in the United States Football League. They'll be 13-1 should they get out of here in 2 minutes and 50 seconds with this win.
Mora, of course, is a man who believes a lot in the concept of organization. As we look at David Riley and what he has done recently, he's made a difference for them. As you mentioned earlier, he's taken a lot of pressure off Kelvin Bryant. Jim Stanley out of Texas A&M.
Michigan comes in with its short yardage defense. It's 3rd down, 3 yards for the first. Fusina to throw. Has a man deep. It's Willie Collier. It's complete to the 10, the 5-yard line. Goes Willie Collier.
Who says Chuck Fusina can't throw deep? He threw that one backpedaling. Willie Collier, the fastest man on the team out of Pittsburgh. Ran a beautiful route that time, beat Bobby Futrell.
That's a 2-minute warning.
A 38-yard pickup. The ball was perfectly thrown to Willie Collier. 2-minute warning. Our score, 24-13.
Tim, watch the timing by quarterback Chuck Fusina as he goes deep to Willie Collier here. He's under pressure. He throws that while he's still backpedaling. Collier running a corner pattern here, beats Bobby Futrell, number 20, and that pass goes for 38 yards. That makes Fusina 13 of 21 on the day for 200 yards. Collier, of course, caught a lot of passes from Dan Marino when he played his college football at Pittsburgh.
1st and goal from the 5. The give to Kelvin Bryant. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Kelvin Bryant, out of North Carolina, last year's most valuable player in the United States Football League. Finally, a star for Philadelphia. Chuck Fusina, as you mentioned, will come out of this ball game 59-7. His record as a starter at Penn State and Philadelphia.
It may come back. I think we've got a penalty here.
Holding. Offense, number 89. Still first down.
Well, that's Steve Folsom, the tight end.
Steve Folsom, regarded as one of the better blocking tight ends in the league, comes down on number 52, Kyle Borland. And you see right there, it looks like he just grabbed the back of his jersey and was caught for that because the first part of the block did not appear to be illegal.
Well, what it does is it makes it first and goal from the 15-yard line. And Kelvin Bryant again breaks loose. Touchdown, Kelvin Bryant. And he flags, no sir. This one will stand. And Irv Eatman, his sidekick, the man who throws the blocks on the right side of the line with Comiskey and Gilbert, gets the slam.
Kelvin Bryant, a great one out of the University of North Carolina. The Tar Heels, of course, we talked about earlier, have had a great tradition of running backs there. I think of all the running backs out of North Carolina, this man, number 44, is the most complete player. Left side, loses a tackler, breaks another tackle there, second effort, third effort. Now he's home free.
And despite missing 3 games, Bryant, with 992 yards now, has passed Herschel Walker to move into second place in the USFL behind Joe Cridge, as the extra point is good. Walker, of course, plays tomorrow night against Chicago. Kelvin Bryant, a 15-yard touchdown, his second of the day.
Of former North Carolina Tar Heels doing it for Philadelphia today. Kelvin Bryant and John Bunting. John, you're shaking off a bad neck to put in a heck of a performance today. Philadelphia just continues to play well.
We have a good team. We have a real solid team on all fronts and a very together team. And this is a good ball club we're playing out here. And for some reason, I don't know why, they don't seem to have it like they did last year. But we do. I understand we've just sealed a berth in the playoffs, so we're all very happy about that.
All right, hope you're next, not a problem. Thank you. All right, time for the kickoff. Back to you, Tim.
John Bunting, Springbrook High School, North Carolina University, Philadelphia Eagles, Philadelphia Stars. Owns a country club along with Ron Jaworski. Kelvin Bryant, the day he's had. Minute 49 seconds left. This will be Albert Bentley. Pulls his way across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Bobby Hebert will complete the ball game as he now talks over the offensive philosophy with Jim Stanley, the head coach.
Everybody.
There's Kelvin.
All right.
Along with Joe Happy.
Jennifer, everybody. Everybody in Philly. About 9 o'clock.
They think they're number 1, and they are.
Best record in the United States Football League. They'll be 13-1 in just 1 minute and 41 seconds.
How's that go? You tell the truth, it ain't bragging.
No fact, just... no brag, just fact? I don't know. 141.
You better take that one from the top.
Take this game from the top. Michigan would love to do that. Hebert to Anthony Allen to the 44-yard line. First down, Michigan.
Well, it's to Hebert's credit that he's still standing tall in the pocket and throwing passes like that. If they can launch a drive here, the momentum that they gain might carry over into the following week.
Hebert to Lenny Patrick, and it's complete for a gain of 4. But the clock continues to tick down to 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Time is the enemy of the Panthers right now.
Hebert intended for Lenny Patrick, incomplete.
Once again, that's a catchable pass. You know, I've felt for many years that maybe they should create a statistic for dropped passes.
You know, no team other than Philadelphia has given up fewer than 200 points this year. However, the Stars have given but 165. A dominant factor right now in the United States Football League. Bobby Hebert goes for Holloway, nearly intercepted by Jonathan Sutton, who's played one whale of a football game. This is the playoff picture in the Eastern Conference. Philadelphia, as I told you, comes out with a 13-1 record. Birmingham, winning right now, should have another win today. They will be 12-2. New Jersey is 10-3, still very much alive, as is Tampa Bay, and New Orleans is alive. You heard Tommy Miller say that Michigan wants a timeout. As you look at the Western Conference playoff picture, a little bit more scramble. Houston at 9-5 is the leader here in the Central Division. Denver, 8-6, still alive. Michigan at 7-7 is still in the hunt, but it has lost 7 of its last 8 ball games. Los Angeles 7-7 is the hottest club among that bunch, and Arizona lost last night to L.A. Oklahoma still alive with a 6-8 record.
What about those Oakland Invaders, though? Have they been hot in the second half of the season?
Sure they have.
Mathematically, they are still not out of it, believe it or not. I mean, that would be the greatest turnaround in professional history. I agree with you, however, that I think that right now the Los Angeles Express might be the hottest team in the league.
Well, Oakland, after a terribly shaky start, has 5 straight wins. 5-9 is their record.
They're playing with a lame duck coach. You realize that they've hired Charlie Sumner as head coach for next season, the former Los Angeles Raider defensive coach, as we look at Jim Mora. So Chuck Hutchison, a lame duck coach, has his team winning. They've won 5 straight. Jim Stanley, a man who believes in discipline and loyalty.
1 minute left in the ball game. Jim Stanley, very disappointed. Hebert still your coach, or your quarterback, rather. Philadelphia jumps too quickly. Flags fly. The ball is intended for Holloway. He's got it on the 30 to the 20-yard line. Derek Holloway. Big gainer for the Michigan Panthers, but there are flags down. We mentioned that Philadelphia may have jumped off sides. Mike Lush, who was coming on the blitz.
Offsides, defense number 27, penalty decline, first down.
And that is 27, Mike Lush. Executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. The coverage of today's game was produced by Ned Simon, directed by John DeLisa. The technical director, Chet Mazurik. Associate director, Joe Novello. Technical manager, Bill Freiberger. The unit manager, Steve Israel. Assistant to the producer, Ray Schmaltz. Raymond B. Schmaltz III. Statistician, George Hill. Our spotter is Kelly Hayes. Hebert, with time in the pocket, drops the football, and it'll be, well, they're going to say he was down in the grasp of the linebacker, George Jamison, and Sam Mills, and they'll say that's where it'll be marked, with 48 seconds remaining. Boy, I'll tell you, right now, Philadelphia's just laying its ears back and going after Hebert. Hebert nearly intercepted. Antonio Gibson had the ball in his hands, just couldn't bring it in.
When you lay your ears back, what does that look like exactly?
You ever seen a horse come out of the gate? Those ears go straight back as he starts to drive forward.
I think I finally understand it now. Okay. And you lay your ears back, you're coming on like a horse, in other words.
Full tilt.
Horse imagery.
31-13 with 40 seconds left. Well, that should have been pass interference. No call there. Again, it's Jonathan Sutton. So, with 33 seconds left, no call there. Time will expire here shortly as Michigan is just riding out the wave. And Philadelphia, as you look at Chet Casina, has clinched the playoff berth for the 2nd straight year. And we could be looking at the most valuable player in the league this season.
Those are his numbers on the day. Bobby Hebert has completed 20 of 48 for 309 yards. That's 2 weeks in a row. Hebert has thrown for over 300 yards in losing efforts. 48 attempts today.
the backside pressure. Hebert throws, and it's incomplete. Mike Cobb almost had it.
Good coverage, but again, a catchable pass, and I'd say there have been at least 5 passes dropped today.